Hey, good evening, everyone. Hey, I am your host, Dr. Michael Russ. And listen, I want to welcome you to tonight's conversation. Tired of dating, but not tired of love. Listen, come on in. We welcome you to tonight's conversation. I'm excited. I don't know about you, but I really feel like tonight is going to be next level. I feel like tonight's going to be relatable, and you're just going to be able to, connect with us on a different level. As you are coming in, do me a favor. We should be live on YouTube. We should be live on Facebook. If you don't mind, help us to help us to spread the word that we are live, to get in the algorithm. You know how this works. You can share the link on YouTube, post in the comment section, but you can also share the link on Facebook so that others know that we're live. And I'll also ask you to maybe go a step further and how maybe send it to 2 or 3 friends that hey, they always love conversations like this. Conversations on dating, love, and relationships. So text somebody, let them know that we're live. If you know somebody was on the last time, send them a text now. Hey, let them know the gang is back at it. We've got everyone from part one. They're back again. The entire gang is back. And so you're going to get a chance to connect with us a little more. I saw some of you all's comments. And all the feedback that I got was very positive, right? People saying that this is really good and they can really connect with it, okay? So again, we are live. Do me a favor. If you are wherever you're logging in from, city, state, country, if you will, we just want to be able to know who's watching tonight. Put it in the chat. Put your city, your state, your country. If you're out of the country, last time we had someone from Africa that was watching us. So put it in the chat so that we know that where you're watching from. And also, and I see people coming in as well. I'm gonna have 2 assignments for you. This is interactive. I don't want you to just watch us the entire night, but I want to get you involved as well. Not only put your city and state or your country, where you are logging in from, but if you are joining us for the second time, you are part of part one, or even you watched the replay, I'll take that as well, because I know I had a couple of people tell me, hey, I watched part of the replay. I wasn't able to catch it live. So if you watched part one and you're joining us again tonight, can you put a 2 in the chat? A 2. That lets us know, hey, you were here for 1, you're here for 2 as well. But if you only were, if this is your first time joining us, your first time hearing about the conversation, your first time seeing the promo, you could just put a 1. I just want to kind of see who do we have here with us tonight. I see a couple comments coming in as well. And we got a couple returners. So that's good. I love to see, people tracking with us, if you will. So again, log in, if you will. Let us know the city and state that you're logging in from, or your country as well. And again, if this is your first time joining us, put a 1. But if you were here for part 1, or even if you saw the replay and you're joining us again tonight, write a 2. So again, we're about to get started. Tired of dating, but not tired of love. But do me a favor, help us get the word out. Share it on Facebook. Share the link from YouTube. Maybe take it a step further and text somebody. I see some returning individuals. So it's like we got several people that are returning. So I'm excited and happy to see that as well. So part 1, when we were here for part 1, that conversation was really about talking about what is happening in dating. All right. And tonight, we're going to talk a little bit more about what is happening in dating, our dating experiences. But I want to kind of set the tone for tonight. We're going to also talk about patterns that we see when it comes to dating. We're going to also talk about some of those experiences. And then we're going to go a little deeper and talk about what are we noticing within ourselves as we navigate dating, love, and relationships. All right. So you can expect a honest conversation. You can expect reflection. As I always say, we're not experts, but we're going to be honest with you and we're going to share our experience, right? And you will also be able to share your experience in the chat. This isn't a dating panel, but it's real people, real stories, and real perspectives, right? And so if you were here last time, it's going to be honest, it's going to be funny, it's going to be faith grounded, right? Because we are all believers in our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, but it's also going to be very real. All right. So again, as you're coming in, please help us spread the word. Let people know that we are live. If you don't mind sharing it on Facebook, sharing the link on YouTube, texting somebody that'll help us get the numbers up. And again, maybe go a step further and text somebody as well. So without further ado, we have a lot of returners, and I'm happy to see that. But we do have a couple first timers as well. So we're going to have the panel to introduce themselves. They are going to give you their names, and they are going to answer this question right here, which is, what's one word that describes how dating feels for you right now? All right. As last time, I'm going to do it again. Let's get it started with our resident OG, Mr. Sean Sunye.
Oh man, how everybody doing? Sean Sunye. I'm out of Huntsville, Alabama. Dating right now, I'ma just say it's okay. Not much saying like out there dating, but dating is okay. I'm not going on dates lately, but I think where I'm at, I think I'm in a great position. So I'm happy.
Okay. All right. Jump right in. Whoever wants to go next.
I'll go. Hey everybody, I'm Sharmesia Deanna, or Misi, if you're coming over here from Move Ma. And dating right now, I guess I could say the same. Like, I'm really focused right now on stabilizing my children and just cultivating relationships in my life in general. So I don't know. I've never actually been like the person just seeking to be out here dating. So that'll probably be something that we could get into, but that's where I'm at. So I'm okay too.
Hey y'all. So I am Carrie Harris. Are you
Carrie.
Did I do something wrong?
I'm not laughing at you, Carrie. I'm just the first two answers were quite interesting. But go ahead, Carrie.
Well, I'm Carrie Harris. I'm out here in Los Angeles, California. For me, dating, the correct word right now, I would say, is non-existent. Just because that had like Misi said, it's like I've been really focused at this point. It's not that I haven't gone on, but it's really just hasn't been existent, if that makes sense. So, yeah.
Okay. Now, Jared, before you respond, I heard through a birdie that you have a little situation, and I won't go into it any more than what I just said, but we'll talk offline about it. But yes, sir, please respond to the question. I'd love to hear about it.
Mike, I ain't got nobody pregnant. What you talking about?
I love it.
That was good. Yeah, you have to offline with me about that because God is good. Thank you, Lord.
Yes, sir.
I'm Jared, as Mike said. Dating is offline. Offline.
Oh man. Oh, I love it. I love it.
I can't wait to have this conversation tonight. I got my water and my beet juice.
Listen, so I see audience participation as well. So I asked a question to the panel, but I love it that somebody, Lisa Brown, Elder Lisa Brown, thank you so much for joining. She put content. So again, I don't want you all just to listen to us, but again, engage with us. So the question is, what's one word that describes how dating feels for you right now? So just put it in the chat as well. To those of you who are watching, let us know what are your thoughts about how dating feels for you right now. Somebody says we have 2 okays, a non-existent, and a situationship. Right? Exactly.
Hold on.
Exactly.
Who said that? Love it be Mika. Mika, you don't know about the situation. Right. You don't know what the Lord is doing.
Somebody's following me. Somebody's following. I'm like, listen, these responses to kick this off tonight were a little different. But okay, listen. I'm excited. So again, I know more people are coming in. Thank you so much for joining us. So again, as you're coming in, if you don't mind helping us spread the word, let people know that we are online on Facebook. I believe we're live, and then also on YouTube as well. So if you will help us spread the word, and it's gonna be a great night. Okay. So let's get right into it. It's gonna be a great night. So I want to pick up where we kind of not left off, but from part 1. Now in part 1, there were several memorable moments, right? There were several topics that kind of took front and center, if you will. And of course, we can't fillet all of them for the sake of time, but I do want to revisit one of the topics, concepts that came about through that night, and that was this idea of a quick picker, Carrie. And so when we talked about it, I posted a poll. Some of you all may have saw it. I posted a poll yesterday, and I said, what's your perspective? Do you feel like you have a quick picker, or are you learning? And to my surprise, I won't even say to my surprise, let's just say the results were split. Half of the people were saying, hey, I got a quick picker, but there were also people saying I'm learning. But what I want to do is bring this question front and center to the panel and ask you. I know Jared again brought it up, but I want to go a little deeper. Carrie had some thoughts, but I want to ask the panel as a whole collectively, where do you stand when it comes to this quick picker? Do you feel like you say, yeah, I absolutely have a quick picker? Or would you say, you know what, I'm actually in the learning, discerning stage, and I'm still kind of navigating? So I want to kick it off tonight with that question.
I have a picker. And I because I didn't have a quick picker for so long. And once you keep going through the repetitive things over and over again, those cycles, you get sick of it and you start to learn it a lot quicker. So in younger years, I went through all those cycles. So now I see the signs almost instantaneously at this point. So.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. I would say I like to, well, here's the thing. Initially, my biggest thing is not having like the guard up. So like going immediately in with this distrust already, or just like a real wall up. So I'm probably not the quickest picker, more or less just like observer. And if I don't like something, then I just kind of don't entertain it.
I have a quick picker. I think I have a slow picker, but a quick picker.
Okay.
I'm very patient, so I can let things ride for a while, but you already mentally know whether, it's going somewhere, it's not going somewhere. But I can let it develop, but I can definitely cancel very fast.
Mm-hmm.
You can let it develop, but you can cancel very fast. Okay. All right.
My turn.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I got a dumb picker. It's about as dumb as it comes. Because I picked the dumbest dates in the... Okay, I'm done. My picker is ignorant.
Oh, man. You're already starting off high, huh?
My picker is ignorant. That's what it is. It's ignorant. Because why come I couldn't see this earlier? Huh? I got a blind picker. That's what's wrong. It's a blind picker. Yeah, it's a picker that had been through hurt. Oh, I didn't fought all my life. All my life I had to fight. I got a slavery picker. That's what I
got. Oh wow. Okay. All right.
I had to warm this conversation up.
All right. So I know I'm not to chime in on every question, but I got a few comments from some people in the audience, and they were like, we want to hear your perspective a little more. I'm not going to speak and comment on all the questions because that's why we have a panel, and my role is to host and to moderate.
Yeah, Mike, what kind of picker you got?
But I'm going to chime in here.
Okay.
Right? So, you know, I'm going to be honest. I think I'm in the learning, navigating stage, right? I told people, I was telling somebody this the other day. I was like, I feel like, honestly, and I'm about to be 40 very soon, but pre-30, I didn't date a whole lot, right? And somebody asked me this a few weeks ago. They were like, I told them I'm coming up on almost 14 years being here in Dallas, and they were like, what have you been doing this entire time you were here? And I was like, I had my head down getting my education, right? So everybody who knows me knows I've got a master's degree and PhD, and I attained both of those while being here in Dallas. And so that really, people, you know, back in the day would ask me if I'm dating, and I would often tell them, yeah, like these books, right? You know, she's jealous, she wants my time, and all of those things. And so really pre-30, I didn't date a whole lot. But I would actually say post-30, I have started to date more. And I've learned a lot in that dating experience, both good and bad. But I can say that sometimes, you know, I'm more discerning and I'm navigating. And I think the challenge for me, and I don't know if anybody can relate, like, I don't want to disappoint anybody. Can anybody relate to that? Like, maybe that's just my struggle, because Carrie is like, I'm not with you, buddy. But I think Meetsy kind of was with me. You know what I'm saying? But that's my thing, is like, and I kind of alluded to this, and I'm kind of going off script, but it's this idea of like healthy non-committal interests. And I don't think as people we do that well, right? Like, no, I'm interested in you. That's the baseline. And that can be healthy, right? Like, I didn't say I was going to marry you. I didn't say you were going to get a ring. But I think as people, and you all can correct me if you feel I'm wrong, I think especially as Christians, like, we feel like, you know, Sean made a statement about, hey, I can, you know, engage, but I can quickly disengage, right? But and you talked about this in the first part, like, people will call you a narcissist if you're like, hey, I don't want to date you anymore. And so I feel like that, you know, as people, oftentimes when you engage and, hey, I'm interested in you, and then you get to the point where, you know, like, hey, maybe this is not for me, you know, people feel some type of way. And so I struggle because I don't want to be the person to say, hey, I was interested, but I'm not interested anymore. So to answer the question, I'm definitely navigating it, but I want to know, does anybody ever struggle with that as well? Like, you don't want to let anybody down.
I think with time, if you've been with somebody for a long time, that could be the situation where you're disappointed. Like, if say you're ready to move on and do something new in life and it doesn't include them, but you have so much time invested with that person, then yes, what you're saying is accurate.
Yeah, for sure.
I would agree with that. When it comes to like the dating portion where you're just like getting to know somebody, I don't have that problem. I actually respect a man that will say to me, hey, I actually don't think this is going to work. I respect them more than when somebody literally just ghosts, to be real honest. I do think that a lot of women do feel that way. I could be wrong, but it's like, yes, it might hurt a little bit, but at the same point, you're like, hey, that person wasn't for me. So I do feel bad sometimes back in the day when I used to date multiple men at the same time. Not serious relationship or anything like that, but just getting to know them. And they all knew that I was dating other people. But when I was ready to narrow down, I feel a little bad. But now I'm at the point where when I date somebody, I'm really just dating one person. So it's like, either I have to tell you or no, because I can't waste my time.
Okay, absolutely. Meetsy, did you have anything? Because I think you could kind of relate to me. If you don't have anything, that's okay. But I
was going to say, I agree with Sean on, to your point, when it's been something longer. But when it's just like, I mean, like the actual dating phase of like getting to know somebody, this doesn't really feel aligned. At that point, for me, it's easy to communicate like where I am clearly. I think it's harder when there's more time invested, or if I'm in a state of trying to please somebody else. Because what happens to me, I feel like, is people want to people enjoy your company, or they enjoy conversation. They just, I hear a lot of, oh, I love your presence, blah blah blah, but that becomes very draining. Right. And especially if, there's this, well, okay, you just really like me, but then I have to sit and be honest with myself. Do I like you? And then am I willing to say no? Because sometimes it's like, do you like them or not? And just, is it a time thing? And I do a lot of introspection. So I'm like, am I just being guarded? Is there something in the way? So all these things go in my mind. But as far as like, if it's not a longevity thing or there hasn't really been time invested, it's easy to kind of just like, hey, I'm not really with this. Or I will admit that I have been a ghoster because I just move on with life. But yeah.
And I want to say, because that word ghosting has been thrown around a couple of times. Now, I don't ghost people, right? I just let it linger longer than it should.
There we go. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, I let it linger, Jerry. I don't know if you can relate, but I let it linger. I let it linger. I haven't gotten to the quickest picker yet that your sister's talking about. So I wanted to share that. So, on the topic of discerning, right? How do you navigate relationships? I want to ask this question here when it talks about spiritual compatibility. Okay, we often talk about equally yoked, and I think we kind of talked about it last time, building with someone, and it kind of comes from this financial lens, right? Especially if we're talking about society. So the question is, when you think about spiritual compatibility in dating, what actually matters most to you? Does your partner need to be rooted and grounded in the Word of God? Do they need to have an evident prayer life? Do they need to be actively living out their faith? And the subtopic, or the second part of the question, is, and how much room for spiritual growth is realistic to you when dating someone?
Well, shoot. First of all, they need to have a real measure relationship, faith in God. My biggest, I guess, negative would be, I'm not leading you in the spirit. I don't want to be your wise counsel all the time. Like, I know wisdom from women is important, but if I feel like I know more about the word, or it's more intuitive and clicking, or like I'm leading you somewhere spiritually, that's not cute at all anymore to me. So I don't feel like it's a requirement to say, okay, like, you just have to be in church all the time, you have to X, Y, and Z. I really, really, for me, it's important for that person to have a one-to-one relationship and understand the power and authority that they have in God. So if they're not rooted in their spiritual walk by any means, and they're not clear on what that is and who God is and what Jesus has done and all of this, then we're not going to probably be very well together, because I get real deep. I want to talk about that stuff. So if I'm going to throw you off a cliff because you can't go there, we're not going to be able to kick it very long.
Okay.
I prefer balance.
Mm-hmm.
Living and spiritual. So like, you can be spiritual. I do desire a spiritual woman, but balance, like, long as she understands faith, long as she has a foundation in Christ. We don't have to be Bible thumpers, because I'm not a Bible thumper.
Okay.
But like, it's okay. Like, I'm also an online church goer, so I'm not going into a building physically that often in a year. But as long as we can wake up on Sunday, get into the service, I'm good. But I think I don't want over spiritually. Like, I don't think the spirituality got to control every aspect of life. And I think sometimes like church looks completely different in this generation than it did in the past generations. So some things our parents and grandparents would condemn that we do now. But I think now is like be fluid, be able to say, hey, no, we're going out, we having drinks tonight, but we waking up and going to church in the morning. Or, like even if you're going building or in the bed, like I do, I'm in the bed watching church, rolling over, turning it on, and I'm in tune. So like I would want that with a woman, but if she is full-fledged in church, it's cool. But we can get into that part later. I think too spiritual in this season, it creates control. So I'll stop there.
Can I piggyback real quick? Not only does it create control, because as you're talking, like, I like it. Fluid harmony is the word that comes to my mind. Like, that's it, harmony. Because when it's too much, it becomes not only controlling, but it becomes manipulative. It becomes manipulative, and that's not cute. That's why I'm like, that's why I said I'm not guiding you. Like,
I've experienced it. So I don't want to. I don't want one that's heavy in the church. They'll manipulate that word on you, man. And I'm just keeping it real. Jezebel spirits is heavy. Like, and I think
so you're saying if somebody's heavy in the church, they use that as manipulation and controlling. I see.
All right, listen. It's not.
I'm
everybody.
But I want to hear you.
What I'm gonna say is, you have, and I'm speaking for women. Somebody else can speak on men. All right, the women that I see, whether it's following them, knowing women, or my hands-on experience with them, is manipulation. It may be to the point of, hey, well, I don't want to have sex until marriage, which is cool. If that's the goal of what we're doing, let's rock with that. But it's not about getting you off. You can get off, but you don't want to have penetration. I'm not going into details, but some women, they want everything that come with it but the sex.
Speak on that. She just
I think that is control, that's manipulation. And we as adults, we gotta start calling that stuff out. Like, that's why your picker can be quick, but at the same time, like, you can have patience with a person, because sometimes a person just don't have balance when they find Christ. Some people find Christ and it's everything they know, or it's the new them. So they didn't have a foundation as growing up. Whereas if you grew up in Christ, you understand balance at a certain age.
Okay, this is good. You just
no more seats or whatever Juanita the bottom said. There you go.
That is so good. That was perfect. That was good.
Oh man, you just left it midair. Okay, who else is going? The question is, when you think about spiritual compatibility in dating, what actually matters most to you?
Okay, can I jump in?
Yes, sir.
I got to bridle my tongue on this one. I'm going to say this. The Bible says, a tree by the fruit that it bears.
Okay.
You got to check the fruit.
You're in the book, Doc.
And when I say check the fruit, I'm going to put it to you like this. I've dated the pastor's granddaughter.
Okay.
Where her granddaddy was the pastor at the church for years.
Oh, well, we know she's a sneaky freak.
Or whatever Juanita the bottom said. I've also dated the non-church girl that had more spiritual sense and compatibility than the person who was in the church. You know what I'm saying? And so it's all about knowing the fruit that they bear, because people who quote the Bible be some of the biggest hypocrites as well, especially in dating. And some of my worst relationships I've ever been in has been with church girls.
Mercy. They hurt you.
Yeah, the ones that how about a sing about a Honda, but can cuss me out like a sailor. Now hold on, I'm about to really turn this heat up, and because I am a man of God, thank you, loving me, Mika. Then you want to talk about manipulation and control, especially in the black church. It is if they don't get what they want, is I'm gonna go tell your pastor. Let me expose you. Let me do this. Let me do that. Do it. At this point, do it. Because at the end of the day, it's like, then what would you really here for? I thought we were supposed to be a covering, right? We're supposed to cover each other. But when you don't get what you want, the covering is non-existent. Now, you want to talk about attempted blackmail, wildfire attempted blackmail? Doc, mine came in the church with trying to intimidate me while I was up singing and doing worship, and blowing my phone up while I was in the pulpit. Came to the church, trying to blackmail me, and got trespassed off the church grounds. Don't play with me.
So I understand that, and Carrie, we got to hear from you. And I understand, there's some sneaky links and all of that in the church, both male and women, right? And you made a statement, though. You said, you know them by their fruit. So I want to dig a little deeper, though, because, we can, as Christians, we can be guilty of making blanket statements like that. So I want to ask you to give it to me plain language. What does that look like in practice, though, for you? Again, when we're talking about spiritual compatibility, where do they need to be? Because we can talk about past experiences, but where you are today and where you want to go, what are you looking for when it comes to spiritual compatibility? And what does it look like in practice?
I want to know if you can cut that Holy Ghost on when it's time to cut that thing on. Can you tap into the Lord? Can you know how to go before the throne? Can you seek the Lord yourself? Can you fall on your face? Can you go on our behalf? Not when we're together, but in private. If I roll up on you, do you have a Bible? Is it highlighted? Are you in it? Do you know it? I don't need you in the church doors. I need you in the word of the Lord. That's what I need. I don't need you at the church, because the building is just a building. That's just an assembly. That's just a gathering. You are the church. And I know you by the fruit that you bear when your back is against the wall. When our back is against the wall, when we going through hard seasons, do you run, or who do you run to? Who do you go to? Do you go to the Lord, or do you go to your messy friends? Who do you rely on? You get what I'm saying? Can you crack open this word for yourself in real life? And can you navigate? How do you navigate? I'm going to put it like this. You want to know how that is in real life? Go through seasons with people. Seasons will tell you everything you need to know, whether they're compatible with you or they just here along for the ride. I rest my case. Preach, Jared.
Jump in there, Carrie. Let's hear from you.
Okay. Sorry, that ended.
you know I'm ignorant.
Yeah, but it's funny. It's funny. For me, it is, you have to have that mustard seed type of faith.
Okay.
Because the fact is, my calling calls for so much mustard seed faith. Hence why I up and moved to California. It's with no job. So the faith that I have in what God is telling me to do in those pathways, I need somebody that's going to have that type of faith. If God was to say, hey, I need you guys to uproot your entire life and go to Utah. I'm not going to Utah, but still, you know what I mean? Yeah. If God is calling us to go, not like, yes, we're going to be nervous, but we need to plan, and we need to be on our face praying. Like Jared said, like that's where it needs to be at the end of the day for me. If you don't have that type of faith, and I always test this when I'm dating somebody, I will say little things, like things that I've done on my journey that didn't make sense. And like, for instance, moving from Massachusetts to Texas. I didn't have any money when I did that. Some people think I'm insane for that, but God provided the entire way. So it's if you don't have that type of faith, that we're not equally yoked at all. So that's what it comes down to for me, because of the fact is I know what my calling is, and I know how strong my calling is and what comes with it. And if you don't have that type of faith, you can't go along this ride with me.
That's good.
Wow. Yeah, that's good.
Her next move, by the way, is Utah, because she just said, I'm not
in the name of Jesus, no.
So, listen,
I've watched too many of those cult movies, shows, documentaries.
Yeah, that's good. I want to hear from some of you all in the chat, because the chat engagement is really good. So I want to ask you all, when you think about spiritual compatibility in dating, what actually matters most to you? Again, does the person need to be actively living out their faith? Does it need to be clear that, man, this woman has a prayer life, or this man has a prayer life? I'm sure you've seen, like me, videos of people praying on Instagram, right? And the man is like, man, I didn't know she'd go in that deep, right? Or do you need them to be rooted and grounded in the word? I was listening to a podcast by Latarius Whitfield. Of course, you may know him, the host of Dear Future Wifey. Of course, he got married recently, and he was sharing that when he was talking to his then fiance, now wife, that one time they were online and she was just quoting a whole lot of scripture, right? And his friend, and which I believe was a woman, said to him, like, oh, she quotes too many scriptures. And he actually said, you know what? And that's what I like about her. I like that about her, that she's rooted and grounded. And so when I heard that, it led me to curating this question, because if I be honest, I think in my own life, I have vacillated with what, I want where I want my future wife to be, right? Like, you guys were going hard against those in the church, but you were coming from a woman's perspective, Sonya. But, as someone who's grew up in the church, initially I was like, yeah, I do want a woman that's rooted and grounded in the word, right? Solid, and that can pray. And then as you get older, you start having more experiences, and you're like, well, maybe that's not all, maybe she just loves God, or, she goes to church every now and then. But as I've gotten older, one of the things that I'm learning is like, you can be committed to what you're looking for, right? Like, you can stay solid on it. You can stay, as we say, 10 toes down, and you don't have to vacillate, be like, oh, well, yeah, she don't have to know scripture. And so when I heard that from Latarius, it was like, you know what? I want to know what the panel, what their thoughts are when it comes to, this whole spiritual compatibility. So I don't know if anybody put anything in the chat. Anybody on the panel have anything else to add to that piece? Anybody in the channel?
Don't ask Mika, because she cutting up in the chat.
Yeah.
Mika is cutting up in the
Mika
chat.
said you got to be able to pray and pop it. What?
And
Sharice, put your hand down.
Yeah.
I think over spiritually, women, they lack balance. That's the problem. Like, it's cool that you can pray the house down.
Right.
It's cool that you can quote the scriptures. But at the end of the day, can we be practical?
Yes.
They lose that sense. And I think sometimes, I'm gonna just say for our generation, I think everybody in here millennials, roughly. All right, everybody millennials. All right, cool. So we're coming to an era where people are finding Christ for the first time. And they're also coming from the same era was like, if you in the club, you're sinning. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you're doing this, you're wrong. You gotta, so when they find Christ for the first time in their life, they go so hard.
Yeah.
They forget what balance is or what regular life is. They just say, oh no, I gotta be this. And they get into relationships, they become abstinent, they become, what's the other word?
Celibate.
Celibate.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, cool. That's what you are. and they lose track, and it's like they get with somebody and they like, oh no, I can't do that. Because if I do that, I'm not a Christian, or I'm not saved. I'm backsliding. And that don't be the case. So that's why we're in this discussion now where we're saying, yo, it's control and manipulation. We all gonna sin, and I don't think you gotta be selective on what sin you do.
What ends up happening is, just like you said, I've been the person who, okay, I'm saved, I'm gonna give my life and just like stop everything. What that ends up doing is creating fragments. It creates fragments of you. And so like as a woman, I can't speak as a man, but because clearly I hear you and I've seen it and observed it. We go through these extremes. And then it's like you are literally at war with yourself while you're presenting. I'm going to be this spotless lamb. So then you're trying to date and actually get close to people. And there's this big gaping block. There's this weight in between where now you have intimacy issues, sis. Now you can't even get warm. You can't even let your guard down. You can't anything because there's this big weight over you of some God that you've been conditioned to believe is looking over you like your father, you're so bad. Don't do that. Oh, don't say that. Don't even dance. What are we doing? Like, that's not a whole person. So you become, that's why I say the word fragment comes in, because I don't believe it's for us to become saved, redeemed, right? Set free. Really, you're supposed to be set free so you can propel forward. That doesn't mean you lose your essence and your soul and your ability to be able to sense things. So you can come into, sense anything. Because most of the time these women, we be numb. So you become your own person. You become you become a fragment of you. That's what I think is happening. And I think it's happening on a big scale. Okay. Sorry, I had to get expressive.
No, hold on.
Go ahead, Jared.
So here's my thoughts as well. Don't be so heavily caught up that you're not earthly good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, that is the best way I can say it. And I say this because I was guilty of being heavily caught up in the earthly good as a male as well. There's this guy here in Dallas. I'm gonna call his name out because he deserved to be called out. Named G. Craig Lewis.
G. Craig Lewis.
There's a church.
Okay, G. Craig Lewis, you go after Jared Fletcher. Okay, you go after Jared.
Come after me, Doc. I got some things for you. I got some things to say.
I want to hear about this from a male perspective, though. So you don't hear this. Come on.
So G. Craig he was famous for this thing called the truth behind hip hop, because I guess he was in the industry at one time, and he knows all the demonic things that used to happen in the industry. So he used to hold these revivals with kids and tell us to bring our hip hop music to the altar and crush our CDs, take our earrings out our ear, all the things. And I became the kid and the guy who was so heavily caught up that I could not relate to anybody in the earth realm. Because everything that I had, everything that I said, everything that I do had to relate back to what the Lord gonna say, what the Lord gonna do, I can't watch that because that's demonic. I can't watch them because the demon's gonna come out the TV. That ain't real. There's no balance to that. There's no honesty in that. I'm not even being my true, authentic self at the end of the day. And I began to miss a lot of life. I began to miss out on people and their experiences. I can't relate to you in it. One of the worst type of preachers I hate are the preachers who preach so much heaven that they can't talk earth.
Woo.
You know what I'm saying? Like, one of the most powerful preachers in my book are the ones who preach from two places: the pulpit and the pews.
Yeah.
Because the pews have the problem and the pulpit has solution, right? But if you're always preaching solution without problem, how do you gonna relate to people, right? And so I think even in dating, I've dated the girl who was like, oh, we can't watch that because that's too demonic. Oh, we can't do this because that's there. I've been there. Oh, we can't go here because they worship the devil. How do we know? Oh, we can't eat that food because it ain't made with holy oil. Go sit down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But being conditioned through that, and there's people who are preaching their rhetoric, like G. Craig Lewis. You got to have an invitation to get into his church. You can't pull up on a Sunday morning right here in Dallas. You can't pull up on a Sunday morning going to his church because he knows the things that he's preaching ain't always what the Lord got to say. You get what I'm saying? And I was guilty of popping my earrings out, not listening to this rapper, not listening to rap music. It was always, how great is our God? Yes, the Lord is great, but even the Lord sat with sinners and tax collectors. Hello?
Come on.
Yeah.
So there has to be that balance in dating, that I know you have a heavenly relationship, but you can relate to my earthly needs, and not my earthly needs, but my earthly struggles as well.
Yeah.
I'm done preaching.
Don't know.
Yeah. This I feel like we could definitely just put a fork in this and go deeper into spiritual compatibility, because I think it's, again, it's real, right? It's part of the tension of the day. What does it look like practically, and again, where is that appropriate balance, and how do we still maintain our morals and our convictions, but yet we have balance? So I feel like we can go deeper, but to move the conversation on, I want to read some of the comments really quick. So Mika said, a man led by God leads well in every aspect. That's all I need. Okay. Then somebody said, if I look at your life, can I see God there? When you go through tough times, do you turn to God first? When things don't go your way, how is your faith? Okay. And so that's that faith piece, kind of a little bit that Carrie's talking about. And let's see if there are any other comments. Let's see here. Okay. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, and then Lisa Brown said, sometimes it's conviction that God is giving us. This is true as well. We need to have you on the panel. And let's see. Okay. So again, now we talk about, spiritual compatibility. Let's stay practical, if you will, because spirituality and discernment, they do show up in real dating situations. So as we stay practical, I want to ask you this, because somebody sent me a video a couple days ago, and I think it's another tension or something that we deal with in today's society. Well, actually, I want to ask you this here first. Because I know Kara says she has a quick picker. Sean says, hey, I generally can have a quick picker, right? So what actually is, after a first date or second date or third date, how do you know you want to continue going on more dates with this person, or you say, no, that's it, there is no compatibility? What is it that you see, or what is it that is happening? What are you feeling? What are you experiencing that says, yes, I want to see this person again, or no, this is it?
Can I say, I think for me, it depends on what season of life that I'm in.
Okay.
Because I don't know, as a single mother, like when you're in survival mode by any respect, and men are trying to take you on dates and you want to go on multiple dates. Well, one, every time I go on a date, like I'm spending time away from either tending to them, working, or taking care of me. Right. And so if that date is just, okay, we're doing the same thing by the third date. And it's one thing let me say this. One thing I've noticed dating in any type of survival is men choosing to try to be your escape route. And I mean, but just let's escape in this moment. I want to take you out. I want to do this. And I've had to say, hey, are you trying to be my dopamine hit real quick? Because I'm really not interested in that. So if you're just trying to be a good time for a moment, I'm all right. I'm good. You can wait. You don't have to waste your time nor your money. Because for me, by the third date, you can kind of tell, okay, is this person just looking for a good time, or are you actually going to add value to my life? So by that point, I think that you can kind of see where they're going, and then you could determine, okay, we're going to be cool. We can be a friend, or we don't really have anything going on. But for me, because I have big, some priorities, some things to lose in the equation of just, I don't have time to be out here playing. But by the third date, I think by then I can kind of see where he's going.
So again, the question is, it doesn't have to be the third date, right? What is it after the first date, the second date, right? Or the third date that says, yeah, I want to see this person again, or no, this is it. What is it?
For me, the first date, after the first date, it would have to feel like I was just hanging out with a friend, to be real honest. Because the thing is, when you're with an actual friend, not an associate or anything like that, an actual friend, you feel like, hey, I could tell you more. Like, I want to tell you more. And if you don't feel that type of safety from the beginning, I'm out. Like, that's a huge thing for me. It's like, hey, I have to feel like I need to tread on water with you. I don't tread on water. That as a person in general. So if I feel like I have to tread on water with you, it's probably not going to work.
So I want to ask this question, Carrie, because I don't know. I see Mika's comment, and she says, "Can you really determine that by?"
That's a good.
I don't know if she's saying the friend part. I don't know if she's asking that. But my question is, can you really determine that by?
Yeah, I think she was talking about by adding value to your life. Like, can you really determine that by the third date?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And so then my question is to Carrie, though, the friend piece. Can you really determine that by the end of day one? And let me just say this. Here's why I preface that. I know for me, sometimes going on the first date, you got the butterflies and you're really trying to get comfortable. You're really trying to get a rhythm, right? And so I'm just asking, can you really determine, like, oh, I feel like this is a friend by the end of day one? Just ask.
Okay. Yes, because the thing is, I bring my whole self from the beginning. So the thing is, I make people feel very, very comfortable. I've been told that by multiple friends, people I've been in relationships with. I make people comfortable. So if you can't get comfortable with me from day one a little bit, like, I'm not expecting you to be me. But if you can't get a little bit comfortable, this is not going to work at all. But yeah, I can definitely tell if I can feel like I can talk to you like a friend. Like, it's gonna take a second date. I'll take a second date, a third date, and by the third date, I need a little bit of transparency at that point.
What if they're your opposite? What if they're like, what if it's more of an opposites attract for you, and you're like missing out because they're not right? They may be a little quiet. They may communicate in a different way.
I've had that, and at the same point, it still pulled a little bit out of them. The same point where I'm like, hey, I can tell you're a shy person. I'm not expecting you to be me because I'm loud. I am extremely loud and I'm fun. And I'm that person who will talk to anybody. But I'm not expecting that person do the same thing. But if that gives you the ick that I'm that comfortable, that's not going to work either.
I think we should establish how long have we talked to the person. Are we talking to them for a day, 2 days, and then going on a date? Are we talking for like 2 weeks and going on a date? Because I'm sorry, date one, I already know.
Yeah.
You already know if you want to go on a second date or what?
Yeah.
Really?
I know day one if we going on a date.
Yeah.
I'm just sorry. Like, we talked quick picker earlier, all of that. Discernment allows you to know that.
Yeah.
You know from the first conversation and how things gonna go with you all.
Yeah.
So if you go with it and you going against the grain, that's on you. But date one should probably be within about a 2-week period.
Mm-hmm.
You should not be meeting somebody and going on a date with them the next day. Mm-hmm. Establish some kind of communication, establish some kind of energy to see if it can be matched. Yes. And I think that's what's happening. Like, if you on date 3 and be like, oh, this don't work, y'all too far in.
Yeah.
Unless y'all just went on dates every day, every other day in a week. But
now, I will say that I can't definitely agree with you that, you meet somebody, you definitely should be able to know if you want to go on a date with them. But I will say for me that I don't necessarily know if I want to go on a second or third date with you based off of that, like that first interaction. But I generally can surmise at the end of date one if I want to go on another date with you, right?
All right.
After date 2, I can surmise if I want to go on a third date. Go ahead.
Day one, I'm gonna ask about credit.
Date 1?
Yep. I'm gonna see if you want to be married.
Oh.
Yo, these things you gotta ask up front. Like, why are we wasting time if we opposites and we not on the same? We could be opposites, but we're not on the same page.
Yeah.
If our end goal is not to be quote unquote maybe married or in a committed relationship to grow to marriage, why are we on date 3 and we don't even know this yet?
That.
You got to know this stuff up front. You got to be able to, like, you got to get to the point where date 1 is not even icebreakers involved. It's like how she said, we're friends. We're meeting each other. It's cool. The energy's there. Communication is there. Conversation is there. It's not about, oh, is your favorite color green?
Right.
It's not about that on date 1 and 3. You should, all that stuff should have been established up front. And I think that's what's happening. People are not establishing or having the hard conversations up front. You could just run them off, man. I'm being real right now. If I meet a chick out the gate, date 1, I'm probably going to say, like, yo, you trying to get married? I'm just setting the tone, like, because I'm going to tell you, I learned this from messing with 2 spiritual women. I mean, 2 highly spiritual women. They going to use marriage against you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, hey, just nip it in the bud and take away the control and say, now you trying to get married? All right, cool. I'm trying to get married too. So now it ain't about, oh, I'm dating for marriage. I can't do it. Now, like, we're on the same page. We trying to get married. If we trying to get married, you don't gotta control me with, oh, well, I'm trying to get married. You're not trying to be married. All that BS conversation, you nip all of that stuff up front. Don't let them weaponize the things against you.
Yeah.
So, and that's why date 3 should be like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. But from the amount of communication you should have before date 1, y'all should be able to go to Miami together for a day. Hey, yo, just meet me in Miami. Or let's fly out and go somewhere. You can do that on date 1 if you establish the communication up front, but people not doing that. It's just, I'm gonna be 100. Maybe everybody want a free meal or something, and I'm gonna be 100. Is it really the woman controls date 1 for real?
That's so good.
All right, the man don't control date 1. He just showing up. He paying for the time and the attention. That's what's happening. The woman control date 1. So if she don't want to go on date 1 until day 29, it can happen. Now, do she need to say, well, I don't go on a date till we talk 29 days? She don't need to say that. If she want to, she is in control of when that first date is. At the end of the day, a man always gonna ride on the consent of a woman. It ain't about the consent of the man, it's the consent of the woman. So if the woman want to go on a date, it's going to happen. Because she could say, nah, well, I don't want to go on a date yet. Or like she said, oh, I got kids. Yo, you got to work around my kid schedule.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask this here, because I want to hear, I know Jared got something to say on this question, right? But I want to ask this really quick, because you said on the very first date, you're asking them what's their credit score.
The day, not date, day.
The first date?
The first day.
You meet them?
First day.
What?
Why?
And that's what I want to ask the panel. Are y'all doing that?
I'm gonna be out.
I want to get the panel. I want to get Carrie, Jared, Missy. Are y'all asking them the first day you talk to them what's their credit score and stuff?
No, I wish I was. I wish I was being that bold. As I'm listening to Sean talk, I'm like, we are all dating wrong, because I like these boundaries that you got going on. Hell no, I haven't asked nobody what their credit score is. Now, I'm really at this point, like where I'm at in life, like, yes, I need to know these things. But then my thing is this: are you willing to listen to somebody's Jesus, because that gets hairy, because then there's like got to be some like backstory behind some of this stuff for me, because shoot, I'm in recovery phase, so here's where I'm at, like that would be me, like, let me talk to you about my life now. Are you willing to listen would be my question. But dang, I like it a lot.
Hey, I'm gonna be real. you don't have to like. We make conversation hard.
Yeah.
Okay, talk to us.
If I'm meeting you and we try like we're communicating, I'm not saying the first question is what your credit is. It's conversation. As I get to know you, I'm supposed to be telling you where I'm at in life.
Yeah.
You telling me where you at in life. The door opens all the time to say, hey, all right, cool. Like, well, you know, she may say, well, I'm trying to get my credit together. All right, cool. If that's the goal for the year, well, what's your credit score? What is hurting your credit? Maybe I can help you. Now, my philosophy on this might be this way because I do a lot of business conversations, things of that nature. So this is normal conversation for me. But if I'm trying to get to know you, I'm sorry. I don't want to know about your credit issues 3 months in of me investing into your tail.
No, that's good.
We should know this stuff up front. Like, yo, because if you see in the future with somebody, you need to know it. They should be able to be open enough to say, yeah, well, you know, hey, I'm trying to get my credit. Well, what's your credit score? Oh, it's okay to be embarrassed.
Do you
We
think
all
that,
had bad credit before.
do you feel like see, my caution with that would be, especially if somebody has like a low, well, I mean man versus woman, because what you're saying to me makes you very would be desirable because you're here to like, if they're looking at it the right way. One, there's a willingness to help. There is, hey, you need to be stable. If you have a business mindset, I'm gonna help set you up for success. Like, these are all winning things.
Yeah,
But
it's the intentionality
right,
of actually getting to know somebody.
how do
It's
you
dating to get to know you.
how do you prevent, because I love this, how are you preventing though, and maybe because you've already been through this, because this is where I can see where potential manipulative behavior, anything could come in early, because it's like, oh man, like you have a heart to create this stability. You're literally talking about helping out the gate, or just, hey, I want to know where you're at, because I guess you can also find out if somebody is just very unpractical, right, very delusional. You can find out a lot from those questions, but what I'm hearing from you more so though is just like, you do have a big heart, like you literally are I'm hearing a whole man who knows who he is, that is willing to set this woman up for success. How are you navigating that in today's society with women? Like that,
I'm gonna say this: all men should be providers, right?
yeah.
In some capacity, like providing looks different in every lane. It looks different. It's not all about finances for providing, but if you have information, you're supposed to share it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you meet a chick and I'm gonna tell you this: if we talking, that means I'm attracted to you. All right. No male or female is talking without attraction. So if I'm attracted to you, all right, cool. That's the first level of investment into you. All right. Now, like, okay, cool. Let me figure out. Like, let me see if she dumb as a doorknob. Is she smart? Is it gonna work? Is she toxic? All of these things, you got to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
But as you start talking to people, like, if you got something going on, I'm gonna just be real. You don't want a liability. Now you could become a liability or have liability moments once we get together and I can accept those liabilities.
Mm-hmm.
But why am I gonna accept the liabilities day one and see that you don't even want to fix your liabilities?
That's good.
And that's what happens. Most people have all these liabilities. They got what we call it baggage. But you meet somebody who say, all right, cool. Like, what baggage you got? And you start talking, well, oh, I don't got a good baby daddy. All right, cool. That's cool. We ain't worried about the baby daddy at the moment. But like, is he on child support? Well, I don't got him on child support. Well, that's the first mistake. You telling me that he's bad and you don't want to put him on child support. That's crazy work. So, but you would expect the man to come in to provide for you. Yo, a man that's gonna lead you the right way, he gonna have them intentions to show you, like, all right, cool. Let me see your problems and offer solutions.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens if the man ain't offering you solutions, he might just want your cat.
Yeah.
That's the best way to tell you. All men is gonna offer solutions. You gonna come with a problem, baby? I got that. I know how to fix that. Oh, this is the problem. This would happen at work. Well, did you try this? It's always gonna be a solution with, we just gonna say a quality man.
Mm-hmm.
And you got some quality men who don't want to get solutions. They just want the cat.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to accept that role. That's what he wants from you. But if he asking you the necessary questions, I mean, why not get to know? Like, all right, cool. My credit is this, or but yet I got student loan debt. I got this going on, and he may have a solution, or he can use Google, Chat GPT, whatever, to start helping you, because maybe that's not your strong suit.
Yeah.
You looking for somebody who's stronger than you in areas that you weak in. And it's the same way for a man.
So listen, I'm gonna let Jared get in here because we gotta hear from him on this question. And I'm coming to you just in 30 seconds, Jared. Let me say this. I'm scanning the chat, and this whole first day thingy, asking about what's your credit, it's mixed, all right? It's some people are, I saw one comment that said, if you're asking me what my credit is on the first date, you better have a 780 or above. But it's pretty mixed. You know, some people say, hey, first date, that's a little too much. Let things develop. You know, they're not going that far. But, you know, people are also saying they love this conversation and they're learning a lot. So we see that, you know, there is some very point when it comes to that. So, but I want to bring this to Jared because I want to hear from you. We're still on this question. If you're just joining us, after the first date, I know we kind of thrown around third date, right? But it doesn't have to be the third date. It could be after the first date or after the second date. What makes you say, yes, I want to see this person again, or no, I don't want to go on another date with them?
You want me to go? I'm so glad you told me yes. I'm not telling y'all my credit score on the first date. I have a 380, so take it or leave it. There it is. Just it is what it is. So a minute ago I had a 420. I just checked it on creditkarma.com. It said a 380. So live with it. What we gonna do? We going to McDonald's or we going to the PF Change? Like what we doing? But no, Docs invest. Okay, I'll stop. But here's what I'm about to say. Your first date should never be in person. Never be in person.
Your first date
should never be in person.
Talk to me, Don. I never heard this one before. Talk to me.
It should be right here. FaceTime me.
Oh.
I think we don't work the technology enough to miss out on investing time and energy and money up front in physical. Let's talk. There needs to be a natural progression in dating. It has to be. It has to be. We're on the phone. It should be a few cool texts. You would know by text message. You know by texting throughout the day. Do they check on you? Do they shoot you a little talk? Hey man, I'm just thinking about you today. You know what I'm saying? Well, can't wait till we get on the phone tonight to connect. Once we have a few conversations, cool. We there. Now we're FaceTiming. Because if we can have a connection through FaceTime, that's going to make the first in-person date a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
A whole lot easier.
Yeah.
Because then you can open up a slew of conversations, because now you FaceTime, you just spend time, you know, on the phone, you didn't have time to walk. And here's what I'm doing. Here's why. Because when we're on FaceTime, I'm peeping other things around you. I'm checking your environment. I'm seeing how clean your house is. I'm watching your habits. I'm looking at all the things that you think I'm literally zoned in on your FaceTime, but I'm also zoned in on your environment as well. Because your environment is going to tell me, do you keep a clean house? How clean or dirty are you? You know, what are your habits? This, that, and the other. Like, I'm going to know these things. It teaches me exactly. I know your patterns at that point. So, and a FaceTime can absolutely save you a lot of time, energy, and money. So by the time we go on the first, that should say, yeah, I do want to take you on a first date, physical date, and invest at that nature. But I think a lot of people aren't dating with intention. You're just dating to date. If you're dating with intention, you're asking all the right questions. You're going in and saying, tell me about your dreams. Tell me where you are. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? It shouldn't be and Sean, this ain't no slight against you. Do you want to get married? Because everybody want to get married.
They don't.
Everybody, well, to a degree, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Everybody don't. But some people will be like, yes, I want to get married, but you ain't marriage material. You ain't set yourself up to be married. You ain't even healed enough to be married. Matter of fact, you ain't even healed enough to be on this date.
Come
Let's
on.
start there, right? So I
That's big.
don't have time to tell you all the great things that's going on with me, and now you become a project. We talked about that last date, last time we were on the phone. Last time we had this conversation. We're gonna date with intentions, but I'm gonna come in to that date with about 4 or 5 questions that I know can lead to other questions that I'm gonna get a deeper scope, but we're also gonna have a good time. We also gonna have fun. And the date just ain't gonna be dinner. We're gonna do a little Top Golf, then we're gonna have a little dinner. And if it go well, we're gonna have a little nightcap at an ice cream shop, right? And see where it goes from there. But when you're dating with that type of intention, you minimize date 2, date 3, date 4. Because if we go on date 3 and 4, then I'm expecting for us to get somewhere after that. It ain't. I'm not trying to figure out if I like you by date 3 or 4. If I get you to date 2, then yeah, we rocking and rolling. Then we're off to intentions. But I have a lot more to say about that.
Jared, I got a question for you.
What you got, bro? Yeah.
Before you say this, Sean, I don't feel like we're rocking and rolling just because we go on a date 2. I feel like I'm just still curious about you, and I want to see, what else is still there. That's just my thoughts. I want to hear it. Go ahead, Sean.
Jared, I got a question because I'm like you, Jared. We're gonna go one place, we're gonna go to another place, we're gonna hit that ice cream at the end or something. But we're gonna do like 3 to 4 things on a date.
Mm-hmm.
On a date. All right. As the man, do you and the women can answer this too. Answer this. When do she pull her card out?
Oh,
Great. You know what?
Because I'm gonna say before you answer, because this is one of the things why maybe you won't go on a date 2 as a man.
Okay. Here's my answer to that.
If we going to, let's just say we start the day off, we did an activity together, pottery, floral arrangement, candle making, all right, like that. The guy, you pay for it. Y'all hit up Top Golf, right? Then you go to dinner. Then you end with ice cream. At what point when you're watching, because this is what's happening in my brain. I'm looking at the first date and I'm seeing like, all right, cool, we're doing 4 activities. Let me see if she's a team player. Is she gonna pull the card out and say, oh, don't worry about this one, I got this? Because you already gave the agenda. It's not like, oh, we went to dinner, like, you know what, let's go here. The agenda is already kind of set in stone on, yo, this is what we're doing today, blah, blah, blah. Like, at what point do she make a payment?
I get exactly where you're going. Because I've dated the girl where I was all the payments.
Okay.
For every single date. She never pulled that card out. Which led me to say, oh, you ain't got nothing to offer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You ain't got nothing to offer. And I'm going to tell you how we got there. Because when I realized you didn't have anything to offer, I was told that, because I dated somebody who was married. Like she got divorced. I wasn't sleeping with a married woman. You wouldn't know married women. Let's just clear that out. All right. But she told me that when she was married, inside her marriage, that her money was her money and his money was their money.
That's why they're not married no more.
Probably. But here's my question. But here, you said something, Sean, a minute ago that, see, I date different. I date with a reciprocation mindset.
Uh-huh.
And here's what I mean by that. I'm going to plan a date, but I'm also saying, hey, is there anything inside this date you want to do? But also, I'm not going to take you to the Monarch on our first date. I'm not setting the standard that high. We're not going to no 5-star restaurant that high.
I'm blowing your mind.
No, I'm not. We're not doing that. We're going to probably go to J. Alexander's, 60 Vines, Whiskey Cakes. We ain't going to Cheddar's. We ain't going to Olive Garden. But we're going to go somewhere in the middle. But also, I'm going to say, is there anything you want to do? And I'm going to see how you pick, if it's within reason. I'm not expecting for you to pull your card out the first 1 or 2 dates, but by date 3 or 4, if your picker is you ain't took me to somewhere nice and you start yapping about us not going nowhere nice, but your expectation is for me to pay for everything. But I'm also watching how you order on the menu.
Well, Jared, you gotta date your lifestyle, not her lifestyle.
Right.
So what I mean and what I'm saying by that, if you used to going to STK, you used to going to Mastros and stuff like that, no, you go. Like, and I'm gonna just say what even though you're establishing a nice high ranking date life per se, but you got to see if she can help maintain what you're doing. Not saying I need her to maintain it for me, but like I want to see if you reach, because somebody said like a guy, I'm cool with you offering, because I want to see if you offer, and I'm gonna say nah, we good. Or I might say, hey, just bring your lipstick tonight or whatever, lip gloss. Yeah. I'm cool with saying stuff but I want to see if you're a team player. I want to see if you're going to buy, you can kind of navigate and say, all right, cool. I know dinner was about $200. We're going to get ice cream. It's going to be about $30. Mm-hmm. I'm going to pay that $30.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or,
nope.
Hey, we going to,
Nope. You going to dessert, doc? I'm still on the menu, because if I order salmon and you order a ribeye steak, mashed potatoes, and lobster, that tells me already we ain't supposed to be.
She got a free.
Why though? Why?
Because why would you go on the first date and order one of the most expensive things on the menu?
Because if you're gonna take me to a place like this, you need to know what I'm gonna order when I go. What's the problem?
Hey, get that steak, man.
Order and reason.
Yeah, then for me, you would be counting. I can't stand when a man is sitting there counting. Like, why did you bring me here if you're over here complaining about what I bought and you're making little hints? Men will do that, and that is the biggest turnoff ever.
No, I'm gonna say this.
That is such a turnoff.
I'm gonna tell you
what you want, right? I'm cool with getting what you want, but when it's time for say we out drinking, the woman don't know your budget. You know your budget. You operate within your budget for sure. Like, I'm not going to the steakhouse and saying, oh, yeah, you got to get that $30 plate. You can't get that $80 plate. We won't be there. We'll just go, and I'm going to just keep it 100. We'll just go get some coffee.
Yeah.
That's the case. But if we're on a real date, you gauge, and yes, Jerry, you're right to say, all right, I want to see what she's going to get. If she going to get the high dollar stuff, but at that point, now I'm seeing if you're a team player, because you know what you can do as the female. He pay the tip, right? Now I actually, if she paid the tip, I get to see how generous she is. Because if the meal was $200 and she only leaving $20, I'm questioning, hey, well, do you understand the giving, being generous, and off rip, you don't now you paying 20% on tips regardless, unless you're going under on your own. But I'm going 20% or better.
Maybe because I've been burned and I've been there where I have taken to the nice date spot. I order within reason, and we out here ordering a cocktail on the first go. We are ordering appetizer. Mm-hmm. We didn't order the most expensive thing on the menu and dessert. I paid and I gave tip. No, bro. No.
Jared,
that's why
I'm bring your past trauma into the new, baby.
What? No, I ain't bringing my past trauma into the new. My past trauma has taught me what not to do.
All right, but at the same time, if that's not the case, we don't go there.
Yeah,
that's right. That's why I went to the tacos.
We work our way up to going somewhere. Like, hey,
that's why we went to Taco Bell the next time.
Damn.
Hey, get you a gogita.
You can learn. Hey, man,
get your chalupa.
McDonald's. I don't eat McDonald's, by the way, but I'm cool with doing the cheap stuff. I don't have to go spend the money, you know what I'm saying? But it's good to see, you get to gauge people. You got to learn them. So if we quote unquote dating, you got to put your person in different situations to see response. Because if we go to Taco Bell the first time and you pissed off, all right, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
You know, we might can change that red flag, but that's a red flag. And if we go to the nice place and you not even, and we have a whole day and you're not offering to pay for something, I know right now you're not gonna help me pay bills if a problem occur.
Yeah.
And I think I agree with you, Sonia, and I think Jared as well. Jared used the operative word was reciprocity, right? And at some point, again, you establish, Sonia, as men, we're providers. And I agree, you know, it's not even for me so much on the first date that I need the woman to volunteer to tip, right? To take care of the tip or, you know, pay for the ice cream. But I think you might have said this, Jared or Sonia, by the third or fourth date, yeah, I do want to see some reciprocity. You know, I do want to see maybe you, hey, I have this meal, right? Or if we're going to dinner in the movies, hey, I've got the movies, right? At that point, I want to see that you are just into me as I'm into you.
I want to see that front.
You want to see that front.
I want to see the energy up front.
Really? Okay.
I'm gonna say this: when you wait till that third date to get that energy, you already set it in her brain that you don't got to do nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'd rather say to you, "Hey, no, I got it today. Don't worry about it." Versus I'm paying for everything up front, and then by date 3, I'm like, "Well, dang, she ain't paying for nothing."
Yeah.
I don't want like you already set the tone that you ain't got to pay for nothing. So you setting yourself up for failure. I'd rather get fooled one time.
Nope.
I don't want to get fooled 3 times.
That we gonna date. We gonna date.
So listen. I know. This question here has been more juicier than I thought it was going to be, but I think it's a good question because I think it's a really good question, right? And it's what we are experiencing and navigating as we're going through dating. And you know, we talk about going to the second date and the third date. I mean, whatever you want to say, I think part of the things that we're talking about tonight is reasons why people don't get to the second date or get to the third date, or we don't have time for this question tonight, but why relationships fail early, right? And so this is really good. I do want to ask this question to the ladies on the panel and to those watching. You can come in the chat. Sean made a statement. He's cool with going to the cheap places. So this is impromptu. To the ladies on the panel, you could just really quick share, and I want to hear from you in the chat. As a woman, first date, are you cool with going to the cheap places? I don't know what that would be, but let's say Jared said he ain't taking you to Monarch. If you in Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex, you know that's a 5-star restaurant. So to the ladies on the panel, are you cool with going to cheap places first, second date? I want to hear from you in the panel, in the chat as well. Just let us know.
Take the Olive Garden. That's my spot. I'm not gonna lie. Olive Garden. Like I go there almost once a week at this point. That's one of my favorite places. And I'm telling you, I spend $30. I got a glass of wine, sometimes 2, because they don't want to give me they don't make me pay for the glass. And then I'll get a meal if I want the big meal, if I want the small meal, and then for an extra $6, I could take one home. So for me, it's not where you're taking me, it's how creative you are.
Mm-hmm.
You don't gotta pay.
Oh, that's good.
You ain't gotta pay nothing.
That's why I'll get you 2 bowls of Super Toscana, baby.
You don't gotta pay nothing.
I will go to when Jared, you said Taco Bell, let's go to Taco Bell and let's have a picnic in the park. Like I like that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Like the thing is, I can pay for everything I want. I have been doing that. Like if you go on my social media, I take myself to places all the time. All those fancy places, because that's the way I date myself. Yes. But you can't date me on that level yet. Be creative. Yeah. That's really where I'm at. I will take the Taco Bell in the park over you trying to take me to an STK or Monarch, and you're like scared of like what I'm gonna order. By the way, I don't order the most expensive thing on the menu. I watch people's pockets, but still, I don't have that than anything else. I like it, the creativity. That's really it for me.
But here's what I'm gonna say why I really said what I said about how I'm watching how she orders, because we've all watched it. We've all watched a woman who go on Facebook and blast a guy
Right.
because he wasn't able to pay for the most expensive thing. Like our bill is not about to be $1,000. Like we're not doing that, right? So, but what I have learned is to date and to go on dates in places where we can have good conversation. That ain't too
Right.
busy, that ain't too loud, that where I ain't got to worry about the menu. I know in my mind kind of what I want to spend anyway. So I'm coming prepared to pay for the first date anyway, right? I know that. But also, I've also here it is. I've also listened to know that she like tacos or she likes Italian food. So I'm already gaming. Oh, I'm gonna take her to this dope Italian joint. You know what I'm saying, where it got 5-star ratings. This that and other. Like I'm gaming that in my mind, right? So I'm being creative. And she was like, "How you know? You took me to this Italian spot? Yeah, because I listened to how you say you love calamari. Like I'm paying, but that's dating with intention.
Yeah. So
That's listening to that. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
for me, I mean, it's the same thing. Like, I think, and that's why I kind of responded the way I did to your comment about the more expensive restaurant, because just like you're kind of testing, I'm testing too. So like, I'd rather go where I can be comfortable, I can be myself, and if I and because I can feel people right off the bat. If you brought me somewhere you really can't afford, why?
Right.
Because now this is fake. Take me to where you can afford. Look, I love Kava. Let's go to Kava.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go grab something and go walk. Right, and go to the park and talk. Or like I'm more about. I like to actually get to know people. So if you can afford it and we there, awesome. I feel good. I'm not on eggs and walking on eggshells. I'm not sitting here with my purse right clenched to my side. Like, let me make sure I can afford what I'm going to, because I've been in places where man cannot afford where you brought me, and you over here trying to find some money while I'm sitting here looking stupid at the table. I'm not.
Hold on. Mika has probably said the first real thing that she said tonight on this daggone chat.
You shouldn't be broke. If you broke, you shouldn't be dating though. That part.
You know what? No. Okay, that's it. She cut up again. But she said, I think food dates are mid. Top golf, snack stores, skating, escape rooms, etc. Right. I think having, and what that does, Mika, you're right. It relieves the pressure of having to sit face to face and continue a long conversation. It breaks the ice as well, but also it gives us a chance to allow the date to progress as well. We done went out there, we done threw the axe. We can say, hey, you hungry? You want to go grab something to eat? Now it's natural chemistry. Now we rolling. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't made no reservation to no 5-star restaurant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I'm the type of guy to fly you out. I'll fly you out and we go eat somewhere.
Hey.
I will fly you out in a heartbeat.
Well, listen, you ain't going to Monarch, but he gonna fly you out. Right. Okay, so you should take that. All right,
we will fly out and go.
But it's like we said at the beginning, it's about the harmony, right? So like show you the range, because let's say that you do end up dating this person for the long run. Like longevity is important, reciprocity is important. I do love that y'all are talking about this though, because again, the culture, the algorithms, and the things are spitting the message to us women all day long about soft life of being taken care of, to the point where it's become so conditioned that we forgot how to take care of and be human beings with each other, right? If I can take my girlfriend out for lunch, then I should be able to do the same thing for him. Or like I stated earlier, single mother, coming through recovery, certain things, same thing for her. What'd she say? If you are broke, you shouldn't be dating. Well, as a woman, if I don't got any money, we're not. Why? Listen, if you're expecting me to be putting money out, hey, I'm the person who I like to cook. I like to chill. Can I cook for you? Can I make you something? Can I do something intentional and give you that if I can't pay for something if you really are wanting to date me, and I know I can't afford to go buy both of us meals when I got to go feed my kids. So can I make this man something, and then it's like, then there's all these rules, right? Well, you can't do that. Don't, you're stepping in the wife zone, this and that. I think that being able to talk to the person and actually like be human, because I think somebody said that I seen a question in there. Are you talking in between these dates? And sometimes you're not, right? Life is busy, but at the same time, you should know enough to know, am I comfortable enough, to be able, how can I reciprocate? Because I don't really think that we're talking about that enough.
And I also think that there's a standard where, hey, women, don't pull out no pocketbook. I've had men tell me though, hey, I don't ever want to see your card. Okay. And
that is cool though. That's
right.
cool.
It's not realistic. It's not realistic all the time.
I know you want to get in, Sonya, but I got to move the conversation. But I do want to say a couple things because I really feel like Misi, there was some gold. Everybody has gold in their comments, but you talked about a little bit what Carrie alluded to, which was creativity, right? And I think that is, everybody has their perspective on, if you broke, don't date. But I like what you said. Hey, I can get creative. Maybe I don't have the finances to be, leisure like that, or there's not, a cushion in my budget, but I can get creative. And I also think like, where's the reciprocity? And then, I've been accused, if you will, of this, of like, oh, we went on a date, but I didn't hear from you in a few days. Well, I was busy. Life was happening, right? So where's the balance to be understanding? And I want to say this really quick. We got to move, but I really appreciate your comments because we see so much on social media, about does he make six figures? And Sonya and I often have the conversation. If we really want to be honest, the majority of people who make six figures is not a lot of people, right? And we always hear money being put front and center, but how do we relate to people more on a human level and really getting to know, people? So yeah, I'm gonna give you 45 seconds strong to share what you want to share.
Listen, dating is an experience. You don't got to have money to date. You got to have a mouthpiece. You got to have time. And that's what it takes. You don't have to spend no money on no chick on the first date, or no female spend money on a guy. All you have to do is say, hey, we mentioned creativity. You can walk in the park. You can say, yo, you know what? Pull up. Let's do a night ride. Listen to music and conversate. That's a date. I'm not a FaceTime dater at all, but yo, let's pull up and talk for 20 minutes and go about our business, or talk for an hour, depending on our freedom. And it can happen for you. But the materialistic stuff, it just comes with the territory. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to go to Ruth Chris. You don't have to go to McDonald's. None of that stuff. You can cook at the crib. Or better yet, I can cook some food and bring it to the car and you meet us somewhere.
Yeah.
You don't have to do all what we're talking about. It just comes with time and it comes with convenience. But if you really want to say, hey, you know what? You want to have a great first date? Let's go have an experience.
But if she got cats, don't bring me no food.
Oh yeah,
don't bring me no food. I'm with Jared.
I'm with you.
That point, and to that point, listen. This question here was riveting, if you will. On that note, I've got another riveting question for you. So we're in. I need y'all to bring that same smoke. Bring that same smoke and energy on this next question. I want to hear, Carrie. So listen, here's the next question that I have for you guys. So we're talking about dating, and we see various comments and commentary on this in social media. Here's a question: what boundary have you found most helpful when it comes to abstaining from sex as a Christian while dating? I'm gonna repeat the question again for the folks in the back. I'll repeat the question again for the folks in the back so they can process it.
I don't abstain from
what boundaries? Wait, can I ask the question, please? What boundaries have you found most helpful when it comes to abstaining from sex as a Christian while dating?
Can I answer first? I'm gonna say one day. I want to comment on a comment. Mika said people be making 102K bragging about six figures. That is real. That is real. And they not even bringing six figures home after taxes and all that stuff. But I'm gonna let that be. But abstaining from sex, the boundaries of it. I think I respect the person, right? If she don't want to have sex, it's cool. I don't even lead with sex when I talk to a woman. You know what I'm saying? And I'm very much sexually active. But you don't have to like sex. I think the ones saying, "Oh, I'm not having sex, I'm abstaining," that is the ones who trying to control what the hell is going on. They controlling the narrative. You know what I'm saying? Like I kid you not, it used to be where I don't hear it as much, but when I was younger, I used to hear I don't have sex for 30 days, the first 30 days. It don't make sense. Day 31, I hit it, I'm out. Bye.
Right. It was whack.
It don't make sense, man. So like the staining, like I'm gonna just say this. You don't have to tell somebody you celibate or you abstaining from sex. Just don't have sex conversation. That's all it takes. Don't have the conversation. Don't talk about sex. You know what I'm saying? But what happens is they talk about it because they want it.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't that they stop. They don't want to have it. They want it. When they tell you, "Oh, I'm celibate," blah blah blah, they want sex. I'm letting you know. It's because I'm telling you, sex is a drug. Once you get it, you hook. It ain't no say, "Oh yeah, you know what? I've been having sex. I got kids. I'm abstinent." No, you're not. No, you're not. You're just in a situation where you don't want to get another body. Get your body, man. Or get your toy, like they mentioned it here. Rose dying. That's what's happening. So I don't condone it. I would respect if she don't want to have sex. It's just, hey, if you don't want to have sex, maybe we're just gonna be friends. We're not pursuing a relationship if you're abstinent.
Yeah.
Sean, you are cutting up. You are cutting up, Doc. You are drink your water because it throws some water on the chat because they about to come get you.
Man, listen.
Mercedes about to come get you.
Woo.
I'm gonna let the ladies ask that question. I come last. I'm gonna just
before you all,
it was 90 days.
I'm gonna give you a moment. I want to ask this question because you said they're using it as a way of control.
Mm-hmm.
When they say, "Oh, I don't have sex." Can you? I really need you to be 45 seconds strong. I'm giving you,
All right.
So, Sonia, the question is to you. When you're saying, "Oh, they're saying I don't want to have sex," they're using that as control. Can you talk about that a little more? But I really got to keep it at 60 seconds.
All right, cool. What's happening is they're wanting to have sex, and they use Christianity. They use their relationship with God. And I got a standard. God, I promised God this, that I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't do that. But this is what happens. Y'all go out on dates, they actually start feeling you, and now next thing you know, they want to kiss you. They want to hug, they want to sleep over. You know what I'm saying? They want to walk around in the panties or the booty shorts when you have these nightcaps. You know what I'm saying? They want you to rub on them, they want you to feel on them. Yo, that's not a part of abstinence. That's not a part of not having sex.
Right.
If you don't want to have sex, you don't do none of that. So there you go. I gave you 10 seconds.
So for those of you who are just joining us on tonight, I want to bring you into the conversation that we're having. It is tired of dating, but not tired of love. And we are just in the thick of it. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. The question that is on the floor right now is, what boundaries have you found most helpful when it comes to abstaining from sex as a Christian while dating?
Lisa Brown said he'll keep you if you want to be kept. Yeah. Give him the glory. But Jess Hill said, I feel attacked. Who this is? This is a good one. That's a good question, Russ. Ladies, I'm gonna let y'all go on and go.
Okay. I just want to go back to when you said it was 30 days, it's actually 90 days. Steve Harvey did that. That was messing everybody longest with that book. But for me, because I'm let me be real, I'm not a virgin. But I'm in the state of abstaining. For me, I just don't put myself in the situation. Do I tell the person right away, hey, I'm not having sex? No, because for me, I need to figure it out. If that situation comes up, we need to have that conversation. And when it goes back to what Sean said, it's when the women that are manipulating are the ones that are saying it right away. Hey, I'm not having sex with you. I'm not having sex with you. Oh, you want to have sex. I know that because I was that girl. And it really is, at the end of the day, for me, my boundary is I don't put myself in a situation where I know that my loins are going to say, hey, it's time, let's go. Because I know me. I know who I am. I know what my body likes and what my body doesn't. So I need to put those certain boundaries, whether it's like, hey, I'm not going to your house tonight because your arms are looking mad sexy tonight. Like, I will go home. No, I gotta go home, go to sleep. Like, things like that. I won't put myself in those situations because I have put myself in those situations and I know the outcome.
Yeah, I love that, Carrie. And that is the essence of the question. So let me repeat it again for those of you who are just joining. What boundaries have you found most helpful when it comes to abstaining from sex as a Christian while dating? We're coming to Misi next, and then we're going to hear from you, Jerry, because I know you got something good for us.
Get Mika. She don't know what we be doing.
Right, what's she saying? Hold on. Okay.
Mika talking about everybody on the panel be doing it.
Listen. So, okay, I'll be really honest. I have not taken a vow of I'm abstinent. Okay, I've been divorced, right? I've been married, I have kids. So I've never been like, oh yeah, I've had moments where like, okay, I'm focused. I'm not having sex. I'm not giving away all this wonderful power and wonderfulness over here. You don't deserve this. What are we doing? But I don't jump in that like that either. So here's what it's been for me. There hasn't been some huge boundary of, okay, I'm abstinent. I'm just not having sex. I'm not having sex with majority of people I'm dating. That's definitely not going to happen, especially because usually I don't get past the first date or one date. Okay, so no. But as far as, let's just speak on the fact of honoring my body, honoring my time, honoring what comes with it. It came with learning lessons of giving away because you're in the heat. Like, what are the repercussions? That's where just real discernment and what do I want for myself? If I know that I enjoy this and this person, then cool. But like, if it's going to end up being a distraction, a disruption, if I'm going to be pulled in a million directions because now I've merged with this person, like, that's where I have to stop and pause. So if I'm not having conversations that help me understand who this person is, like Sean talked about earlier, when you're dating them, then like some conversations you've had, it's not even about boundaries. What conversations have you had before you merge yourself with this person? So for me, I wouldn't say that I've taken some vow of abstinence or celibacy, but more or less just being very, 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 running a strict program when it comes to my body, and being upfront. So if someone is, let's say, talking, hanging out, whatever, and they are leading towards that, and the conversation of sex comes up, and I'm clear, like, I don't want to have sex with you, then clearly I will say that. Hey, I don't want to have sex with you. You're not finna touch me, and leave it right there. And if it becomes a problem, then when somebody has to be dismissed. But if that's what we're doing, then yeah. Then it's happening. Okay, Gary.
Oh my God. So listen, we are mid session tonight, and we have we're just kind of like, that iceberg analogy. Like, we're really just kind of at the tip of the iceberg. Like, we really haven't even gotten deeper. So I'm not, if Pastor Jared wants to respond, he can, but there's no pressure. I can transition into the second half of this here, and I want to shift the tone a little bit. And up to this point, we've been talking about dating decisions and behaviors, right? Now I want to talk a little bit about what dating has revealed about us, those of us on the panel. And so we're going to move through this next part swiftly as possible. But I'll say, hey, stick with us. We're still in a snowstorm for most of us here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, and even if you're in the South. So here's the first question. I can't take credit for this. This is actually a question that Misi suggested to me a few weeks ago. But here's the question. Can you remember who you were before your first real heartbreak?
Mm-hmm.
And in what ways has dating changed that version of you?
Man.
The second part of the question is, and what do you think it would take to get back to the healthiest parts of that person?
Oh, I'm back. Hey, I was a lover boy to the core. My high school sweetheart used to get flowers on the regular. We used to have a rose bush at the crib. Going around the house. It's rose bushes. And I used to go out there and get a rose. If I was going to our crib, I'll bring it. But when my heart got crushed, oh man, icebox.
Mm-hmm.
Love came out of me. Didn't care. You don't care after your heart get broke. But I think as time progresses and you start learning life, you get back to it. You know, like so. I think now I'm a lover boy. I'm a lover boy. Like I know how to make a female smile. So, but I think it's time. You know, like like it's kind of like you never get hurt. You may marry fast, but I think sometimes you actually need to get hurt to actually experience it and see if you can recover, maybe with the person, like because the person could freeze you. Like sometimes that's why they say like never go back to an ex. Hey, you can't trust them. They may freeze you in time for what you did wrong or what they did wrong. So it never works. And like it's always what you see is the person when you finally get it, that's when you get the conversations from an ex like, oh, well, he wasn't that way with me. Like, hey, this person get it. And so this person brought the lover boy out of me or whatever, the lover girl, however you want to say it, but I think it comes with time. And it goes back to the initial conversation of compatibility. If we're not compatible, you may not get to experience it. Like it's really the exchange of energy. Like they got to be matching what you matching and what you giving. If they matching that, of course you giving that energy to them. But if you see like, yo, like it's all on me to do stuff around here with you, you're not gonna be who you was before your first breakup.
Mm-hmm. So Sanye tells us that he was a lover boy. So let's hear from you, Carrie. Can you remember who you were before your first real heartbreak? And in what ways did dating change that version of you? And what do you think it would take to get back to the healthiest parts of that person? Then we're coming to Misi next and then Jerry.
So I'm a little different. I wasn't the healthiest version in that relationship. In my first love relationship, I was not the healthiest version. Mm-hmm. If anything, that heartbreak grew me. I had to go through a very similar cycle about 4 or 5 more times, but it at the same time, it hit me like a brick wall. Hey, it's not just them, it's you as well. And that's when all of a sudden that therapy really started working for me. So now I'm at this place where I'm in a healthier space where I can truly love someone from the bottom of my heart, and I can allow them to love me, because my version of love, because of how I grew up, looked completely different. That's why I let a lot of things get away with a lot of men, look completely different than what I allow now. And now the type of men that do approach me, that I do go on dates with, I'm getting that type of, not necessarily love, but I'm getting what I deserve because I'm putting that out at this point. So for me, it's a little different. I don't want to go back to that version, because that version was, she loved hard, but she at the same time didn't really know what love really was, because she didn't know herself.
So I get it. You don't want to go back to that person, but I think you just said it. But he was a lover boy, and you're saying you loved hard, and so that's kind of who you would say who you were before that first heartbreak. You loved hard, and as you're getting healthy again, you're gonna show up that same way, and your next loving. Not to a. Go ahead.
Because that love hard was a dangerous love hard, where it's like you will do anything for that person, to be with that person, to stay with that person. And my first heartache, I allowed that person to do things to me that used to make me cringe at this point. At this point, I'm healed from it, absolutely healed from it. But what I allowed to happen, I would not allow to happen ever in my life again.
So I get it. And I know I hear you as far as you loved hard to a detriment, even though that situation might have been toxic. And let me know if you feel I'm wrong. But I also feel like there still had to be a positive side of Carrie in that situation. I'm just curious. I want to know who she was. No,
because it all rooted, like, let me be real, it rooted from how I was raised. So it was a whole deep rooted thing that was going on. So for me, it was more like I'm in my best self now when it comes to that. I'm still growing, absolutely, but I'm in my way best self now compared to when I was back then. And it's because of how I was raised and how I saw in as a child. So I never really got to be that person.
Okay. Macy, coming to you.
So for me, the before heartbreak, I would say Missy, little Missy. Like, so we're talking like 15, 14, 13, before boys really were a thing. I still feel like I'm a sweet person, but I was very sweet. I spoiled my first boyfriend a lot. Like, I had a job. When I got a job, like, oh, he been talking about them J's, I'm about to get him them Jordans, and just go buy him these Jordans or buy his snack. What'd you say you like stuff like that I would do. Was it reciprocated as much? Not really. It's high school. He was like a year younger than me. But that's the type of person that I just look. That's the type of person that I will say I am. I will say I brought that same energy into my marriage as well. As far as that sweetheart goes, because I do believe in nurturing and taking care of those that's just always was in me. I also feel like goofy, just, a jokester, willing to kind of go on the adventures, risk whatever. Hey, we might get in trouble, but that would do that with that person. So that was kind of me at that point. I wasn't caught up in, I guess I wasn't caught up in like all the material things and things going on. It was more or less like best friend, let's hang out. Oh, I'm gonna spoil you because you're my man. Okay. So yeah. And then, but I would say too, like, she was of course a little naive and things like that. But that's where you go through relationships and kind of learn, like Carrie's saying, most of my relationships probably up until 30 were here to really break some patterns and break me in certain ways. But to bring that back, I really do want to get back to the point where that desire to really spoil and safely do it is available, because it is a joy to be able to do those things, and then also have a boundary standard that reciprocity has to be there too, right? Where I'm not just giving. But yeah, I would say she was giver, sweetheart, very well spoken, focused on her stuff. School was always good. Athletics was always good. Like, I was on the top of my game. So, yeah. And then heartbreak really does take you for a turn, though. I'll say, what did he say? Your heart turned ice. Yeah, that bridge in college, when I really found out this man was cheating, I went into, I'm gonna do whatever I want, and I'm not linking with. I'm not attaching with nobody. I'm just doing me. So I went through that in college, and I sure did do me. Yes.
Love it. Thank you for sharing. Jared, talk to us.
Me say I wear a size 13. Sean, what size you wear?
I'm a 13 as well.
Okay, cool. We can stretch it just in case you want to get your brother something. You know what I'm saying?
Noted. Look.
Yeah, man. Okay. All right. I'm gonna flip the conversation upside down.
Okay.
Sean said he was a lover boy. Misa said she was a giver. But Carrie said something that got me. And what she said got me because that's where my first heartbreak was. My first heartbreak wasn't with a girl.
Mm-hmm.
It was with my dad.
Mm.
That was my first real relationship.
Mm.
It was a toxic relationship with my father that began to plant seeds in my life that when I got older, I allowed toxicity to brew in my relationships. So to ask me who I was before the heartbreak, I was a kid. I don't remember.
Mm.
I'm sure I was probably a lover and a giver, and I was fun and loving and these things and the other. But the relationship between a man and his father really have implications in his adult life. So when I became older and I became wiser, as I become older and I started dating some of the women that had the same toxic traits as my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is my father was always in and out, back and forth, broken promises, saying I'm coming, saying never showing up. And here I am saying, it's cool, Dad. I still love you. Mm-hmm. And so what it ends up happening is I got into a rotation of dating women that were no good for me and allowing them to come in and out of my life, do whatever they want to do, say whatever they want to say, treat me however they want to treat me, and me just being a recipient of it because I never knew what being healthy looked like.
Mm.
I never knew how to be a healthy man. I learned how to be a healthy man through the bad relationships I went through. And those bad relationships taught me that I am a lover, that I do have a heart to give, that I am a soft, that I can protect, that I can provide, that I can reciprocate. But I never seen those things in my father, nor did I ever experience those things growing up. So to say, who am I? Who was I before my first heartbreak? I was a kid.
Mm.
I was a kid. And there's a lot of, if people really want to be honest on this call tonight, even in the chat, they would say, man, a lot of our failed relationships have some kind of tie to our childhood and the bad memories that live there. Mm-hmm. And the unhealed trauma that lives there. Because we can't talk about dating and love without talking about healing traumas and healing wounds. And then the other side of it is because we can't talk about it because you can't heal what you won't reveal. You just can't. You can't heal what you keep buried and hidden in the inside because it's too hard to touch on and it's too hard to talk about. Because here's the real truth. I'm about to go there and I might get myself in trouble for it, and I'm A-okay with that. But there are some women who have been, what's the word I'm looking for? That have been done wrong, that have been touched inappropriately, that have been violated. And when they get into relationships, they are guarded because the man they were supposed to trust broke that trust.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so they don't know how to really love fully and love properly because their first love broke their heart, which is probably their father or uncle or a family member or a close friend. So to take us back that far, to really heal and love properly now, we have to go back to where our heart first broke, and sometimes it's not in relationships. Mm-hmm. That look like boyfriend and girlfriend, that look like platonic. Sometimes it look like relationships that we didn't think was going to break our heart. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize that, Mike, in this entire panel until last year. at 39 years old that my first heartbreak came from my father.
You know, so you said you were a kid.
Yep.
I'm thinking, I feel like you don't register what it's happening so like early on in life. Like I could go back to 3 years old and 5 and be like, things happen there. But as you're talking, I'm like, man, my biggest heartbreak kind of happened simultaneous. My dad and my first within the same like year or so. And so when you get dropped like that, you can become not that I don't feel like I became a villain, but I feel like something happened, something snapped, because
Exactly.
a lot of I had strong boundaries. Like my dad did something to really hurt me 16, I think, and I came back from that summer, and that's the next year is when I lost my virginity.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, hold up. Like that was an important relationship, but it shifted something in my I don't even want to just say convictions, but I had a very strong, like I was with that guy for a few years before I let him even kiss me. A year before I let him kiss me, 2 before I let him touch me. And then after my dad did that thing, I was like, well, I'm kind of curious now.
Yeah.
And then opens up a door.
And it opens up a Pandora's box.
Yeah.
Of feelings of unresolved, of hurt. And that's not everybody's testimony. But the hard thing is that some of our testimonies, that our first heartbreak, our first real true relationship comes from parents that really just tore and ripped the rug from under us. And that's a really hard place to be in. And we can literally have a session on that, because some of our parents owe us an apology.
Yeah.
Owe us an apology, and owe us a real hard, honest conversation of how they mishandled our hearts as kids. Because I wasn't 3 or 4 when this happened. I was 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Like this went on for years. And since we're here, you asked for this conversation, I'm just gonna go and give it to you. What ends up happening is I watch my father now I watch my father be toxic to me, but I also watch him be unfaithful to my mother. And so I have toxicity and unfaithfulness all joined together. And I'm watching this as a kid, and these seeds are being planted and they're going everywhere. So, and of course, the devil couldn't wait till I got older to pour water on these plants for them to spring up. So when now I'm dating a woman who is unhealthy, but I know what unhealthy looks like. And I'm used to that. I've conquered unhealthy.
Yeah.
You can't talk about you. You want to talk? Let's talk about how we have conquered being unhealthy, and how we have built a capacity for unhealthy relationships in our lives. Like that is a real thing.
So if you could talk back into kid, even though you say you can't remember, if you were able to tap in enough with yourself and remember who Jared was prior, even the first things that come to your mind, like if there were 2 words, like what are those? Because they are there.
Probably peaceful. Peaceful.
Yeah.
Like at 40, I now have peace in my life. But you know how many decades I went through without that peace? You know how much hell I went through without having that release? You get what I'm saying? If somebody said, once you get an apology, do you think that will change anything? It won't change anything, but it'll give you perspective. Because, okay, Mika, you asked the question. I sat my dad down. I took my dad to a coffee shop that we had the most memories of as a kid. Okay, so here's the honest question, right? You know, and I really hate to kind of take the conversation for a second, Mike. You don't give me 1 minute, and I'll wrap this up. The lady my dad cheated on my mom with died, and the day she died, when she died, they asked me to come sing and play at the funeral. Yes, they asked me to come sing and play at the funeral. I went and sung and played at their funeral. Before that funeral, I took my father to this now a coffee shop that was a suit shop. Now, my dad used to wear suits to church every single week. But this suit shop is where we had the best memories of me being a kid. So I took him to a place that was safe for me to have a conversation, right? And I sat him down and I told him how much of a dick that he was, and how bad he was, and how horrible he was, and all the things that he did to me as a kid, and how I was pissed off at him, how I held all the resentment. And in that conversation, my dad cried at that table. I've never seen my daddy cry another day since. He cried at that table and he said, I apologize because I did that to you. Now, that apology didn't erase the decades of hurt, but it gave me perspective. And it also gave me perspective on who he was and what happened in that season, but it also gave us an opportunity to try to build something new. And that's where you turn the tides and you begin to heal. I had to make a decision at that table. Was I going to forever continue to hate this man, or was I going to try to build something that he never was able to give me?
Mm-hmm.
Now that I'm grown, can I give him what he never gave me? And that was an opportunity to build a healthy relationship with his son.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done talking.
No, I love, well, first of all, Jerry, thank you so much for sharing that again so transparently. I know that was something that you alluded to in part one, and it was not lost upon me. In essence, what you're talking about is childhood wounds, and I'm very aware of it. And just to share with you all, we're going to have a part 3 as well. And part 3, we're going to deal more heavily with childhood wounds and trauma. So we will definitely continue to go deeper. But you took us back to like really the very first heartbreak, right? I set the question up from the context of a dating heartbreak, but even as you were talking, I was like, man, I appreciate your honesty because like it's so real. And I think for me, I've never really processed it to that degree because as someone who grew up without a father in his home, for the longest, I would always reference my dad as my sperm donor, right? Like, yo, that was my sperm donor. And in essence, I knew it in later years, and even it being crystallized as you were talking about it, is like, that was my anger and disappointment because I was heartbroken. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh, he means nothing to me. And so I really do appreciate it because I have not really taken my mind to go there to be like, no, my very first heartbreak was with my father. And even as you were talking, even like I'm talking now, like I could get emotional.
Yeah, bro.
Your mind really go to not just dating heartbreak. And again, as you said, not everybody has this story, this experience, this testimony. But I'm sure there's more than just you and I that have it. That like your first heartbreak came from your mother or it came from your father, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's something real. And again, I want to appreciate you for sharing it because, as somebody said, like, thank you for that release. And I mean, it even helps me as I process my life and as I continue to navigate, like, and as I think about my healing and where I want to go. So thank you so much. It ties next beautifully to this next question that I'm going to ask, which is, and you know, share obviously as much as you're comfortable with sharing. Obviously, that which you're not comfortable sharing, please don't share. But on this whole point of, and let me say this real quick. I want to, before we transition, I want to say as far as in the context of dating, romantic dating, I agree with Sunye. I was a lover boy, and for years, why are you smiling? For years, let me just say, similar to Sunye, and we never talked about this. Like, I remember being in high school, and the young lady that I dated at the time, like her cousin, her niece, like we got like rose petals. Like it was like Valentine's Day. We like put rose petals in the car. We got the little paint that you could put on the windows. I don't remember what it said back then, but like I was on that type of level, like really expressive, right? Just freely open with my love. And, you know, I wanted it to be known. And as you go through heartbreak, I know for me, to your point, you said ice cold. I would use that definition, but I relate to it. Like, I locked that Mike Russ away. You know, I was like, and even still to this day, like, even as I sit here today, like, I don't trust easily. My heart is very guarded. And women that I've dated in my 30s, they would tell you that, like, he has a wall up. Like, I don't let women in easily because, and I think, Jared, it really goes back to what you're saying. And again, I want to invite everybody to come back for part 3 because we're going to go deeper. But it goes back to the childhood wounds. It goes back to the disappointment and the relational disappointment as well, right? That I'm like, I've locked that person up who was free, right? I've locked that person up who, again, wanted to freely give love. And honestly, I don't know if that person has been released yet. Like, I don't know if that person, and I think, Sonia, you said something like, you wanna, somebody said, oh, that's sweet.
Nobody but Mika.
Nobody but Mika. See, you know, never mind. You mentioned it earlier, saying like having that environment, having that space. Like, women often talk about like, oh, I'm in my soft girl era, you know, or I'm in my feminine stage. But it's like, you want to be with a woman who helps to unlock that, where you can freely be yourself, right? You can freely show the love. And sometimes you're just in spaces where it's like, nah, I don't feel this is genuine, you know? And so I was a lover boy. I locked that person away. But I will say this. In the past couple years, protection becomes your prison. Absolutely. Protection becomes your prison. I will say this, though. There was a young lady that I was interested in several years ago. And I will say that I feel like the doors started to open again because I reverted back to 16, 17, 18-year-old Mike Russ. And I was like, yo, I'm going all out, Jared. I'm going all out. Flowers, teddy bears, you name it, roses. Like, I ain't even gonna tell you the number that I purchased. I'll just tell you this: it was more than 12, right? Because I was like, I'm gonna get back to who I truly, Jared. I'm gonna get back to who I truly am, and here it is, and I'm gonna transition. I'm gonna express my love regardless of if I know or not if you're gonna receive it. But one thing I'm gonna do is be clear about how I feel about you, and it is what it is. And I said I can live with the results. I'm gonna go all in. I'm gonna put everything on the table. When it's all said and done, you will know exactly where I stand, and I'll know, you know, where this can go. So I wanted to share that. I feel like, Jared, man, you made us get all deep and stuff. I need tissue now. Like, are you okay? You like everybody? Is it just me or what? Anybody else?
I'm just trying to help, Mike. You said we tired of dating, but not tired of love, right?
Yeah.
That's the process. That's the whole composition of this conversation. But dating is the process of dating is literally try to spend time with somebody to have an emotional intimacy or connection with somebody, right? But we can't date if we never had those emotional connections with the people that we love the most. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's hard. And our foundation is emotional connections with our parents. Shamisi, her kids, like her kids, I promise you, she got an emotional connection with those kids. She knows what's happening. Am I in a book today? I'm about to write my own stuff a preach over here. Like, but a lot of our dating traumas and our tiredness comes from our childhood trauma.
Yeah.
And I'm very aware of that at this tender age of 40.
Let me ask the panel this question. So again, share as much as you're comfortable with sharing, and that you don't want to share, please don't. But here's a question: as we're talking about trauma and healing and heartbreak and all of that, I want to talk a little bit about the healing journey that each of you are on. And the question is, where do you feel you are right now in your healing journey? And how does that impact how you date? How does that impact how you date?
That's real good. Well, I guess I'll go first. So the stage I'm at in my healing journey is integration. And I know I talked a little bit earlier about fragments, but I would say that's where I'm at. Just really embracing, like, I am a whole person. I'm not going to be, I just don't want to fake anything, right? So, when it comes to all of the dynamics of what a person needs, what I need in a relationship, or where we're going towards that, I like to be able to communicate those things. Also, as a person who's a businesswoman, that's also incorporates so harmony. Harmony and integration are big keys in my life right now. Taking ownership for where life has me currently. So I know we're talking about like childhood traumas and all these things, but I've been diving a lot into, because I can get so introspective, like when are you good? Like when is enough so that you can live? Because a lot of the, constant wrestling, constant sorting and figuring those things out has kept me in this like vortex space during the healing journey. And so now my biggest mission is living. Just live your life, accept what has happened up until this point, because it's what's strengthened you to be amazing right now. And those that I'm dating, same thing. So now when I'm dating people, or even just friends, period, like, where is this person at? Are they able to understand what even integration is? And you could tell really fast. So when you're talking about fast picker, you can kind of see, okay, this person's still super duper negative. Then that's going to feed into me over here. Do you have any type of like forward motion or movement in your life? Can you see yourself? Do you self-reflect at all? And are you self-aware enough to keep moving forward? Because if I'm around people who want to stay in that same spin cycle, that becomes dangerous for me, right? So I'm aware of that. And so when it comes to them, real particular about that, and how that person might be speaking to themselves and pouring into me, because I'm naturally going to do that. So integration and harmony is where I'm at.
So I want to just, when you dig a little more, so when you talk about your healing journey, just so we're clear, when you say integration and harmony, what does it look like a little more practically, again, on your healing journey, of where you are specifically?
Okay. So I guess practically that would look like asking more questions, not being so yes, I've talked a lot about being guarded. So the fragments come up with that big guard, right? Like, okay, if this person is not, let's talk about spirituality. You don't want to talk about God. You don't want to talk about any of these things. So maybe in the past I would just kind of like mute myself to go along with the conversation or make this person comfortable. Now I'm not doing that, right? I'm not gonna bite my tongue around things that I value and need because I want to make someone else comfortable. So integration for me has looked like, are you putting you and your children first? Are you choosing to please other people? And so that's having big conversations early on. That also looks like, hey, if I can get real serious, right? So is this person catching stuff like that? Or am I catching it enough to say, okay, I need a little bit of a shift, a little bit of fun. Hey, I need to walk in the park. I need X, Y, and Z for me personally, but dating wise too. Like, does this person just do the same, sit at a, like, I don't really love dating people that play video games all day, but is this all they do? Like, is that their only relief? Then no, because you're staying in a fragmented space of coping. And that's not something that I intentionally sit through the hard stuff to move forward. So that would be one. And then with harmony, learning to have grace for myself when I do get into those stupors of like, okay, maybe I'm just real focused on work, so let's shift. Or maybe, you need to go do something fun with your kids, let's shift. Hey, you haven't given yourself any room to date. Can you schedule a lunch date? Can you be available at a different time during the day? So being more flexible.
Yeah, absolutely. So listen, if you are still here with us tonight and on this journey, the question on the table is, where do you feel you are right now in your personal healing journey? And how does that impact how you date? So I'm going to come to Carrie And again, I want to really tighten it up a little, and I want to make sure you're seeing if you can answer it from a two-part perspective. Where are you at in your personal healing journey, right? And then how does that show up when you're dating?
Yeah. So in my personal healing journey, I am at this place of freedom and growth, where I feel I am exactly where I'm supposed to be, how I'm supposed to be, and everything that was behind me is not holding me back anymore. When it comes to growth, I am now in this space of exploring new things, new areas, and really exploring myself at this point. I think I said this in part 1, but I date myself constantly. Like Olive Garden, like I said, is my best friend. But it's one of those things I do intentionally to see where I'm at internally. Because as somebody that is constantly going, constantly working, has so many goals on her list, especially in 2026, I have to check myself and say, hey, where are you right now? How are you doing? And so on and so forth. Yeah, that's part 1. Do you want me to say part 2 now?
Yeah. And so now how does that impact how you date?
It impacts how I date because the thing is, because I know where I'm at and who I am as myself, I know who I can bring aboard of any of this. So when I'm dating somebody, I'm seeing what can we bring to each other's table, because I know who I am at this point. And it doesn't make that person a bad person if we can't mesh to the point where our lives are going to make each other better. So I'm more willing to release them, and instead of saying, hey, let me just see a little bit and just see if they're gonna if they're really not for me, because it's a waste of time, of their time and my time. So it's really given me a point of knowing what I need, what I want, and what God has for me.
Yeah. Let's hear from you, Jared, and then we'll go to Sunye.
I'm at a good place. You know what I'm saying? Because I stopped dating people that wreck my nervous system. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you got to stop dating people that wreck your nervous system, and that will give you the platform and the space to be yourself, but also cultivate an environment where you can thrive and flourish, and your nervous system ain't wrecked. That's the number one part of the healing journey, is to stop fooling with people that wreck your nervous system. I ain't doing it no more. That's all I got.
Yeah. So the question is, Sunye, before you answer, is where do you feel like you are on your own personal healing journey, and how does that impact how you date?
I feel that I'm cleansed from the past. Broken soul ties, broken the ideal of we should have worked out, So like the baggage is gone in so many words of past relationships, like where you feel now like, you know what? It's like, I just want to be loved properly. I want to be cherished, I want my level of pushing to be appreciated, and not be a burden to somebody. So it's not about matching, saying like, hey, you got to be where I'm at. It's more about, hey, are you just consistently chasing what you're after? Let's be supportive of each other in those capacities. And now I'm just selective, selective. I'm gonna say this. I'm selective on who I'm talking to. Like, yo, we talk quick picker. Yeah, quick picker. You're not gonna work, selective on who you penetrate, so it's not about like, oh yeah, I like this person. Like now, like, hey, I got these check marks. If you don't meet these check marks up front, I don't want sex from you. You know, I don't care how attracted you are or how much of you're my type. You know what I'm saying? So now it's like, no, you got the check marks. Cool, let's try to make something happen. But if it can't happen, it's good. Like, I don't have to settle for, you know, like you do in your 20s. Like, you don't know who you are, and it's not necessarily you settling, but you're not actively selecting what you need.
Yeah.
So now where I'm at, I'm being selective of what I think I desire for myself in a mate, you know? So it ain't about like, oh, like, you know what? Let's go dating or getting on dating apps and stuff like that. Like, naturally let things happen. So not actively seeking relationship, but I think relationship comes, or the person comes naturally. And so you don't have to go out and try to be impressive to anyone. It's just about you being you. And
Yes.
I think all of that comes with growth. You know, like, I'm 42 now, so 35-year-old me would not be thinking this way.
Mm.
You know, um, last year me was not thinking this way. You know, so it takes growth, like time, like you actually doing the hard work on yourself, whether you go to therapy or not go to therapy. Are you being truthful with yourself on like what you want or where you at? Are you comfortable where you at? Because sometimes the dating don't make sense because you're not where you want to be, you know, and it hurts other people. But if I'm not where I'm just speaking as for the man, like, you know, we're looked upon to provide and lead. If I'm not where I'm at, I really can't take seriously dating someone. So, you know, like if I'm building, I can't build and date you and include my liabilities with your liabilities. And then now I'm not even able to chase my dreams. You know, so I think like once you get to the point as a man, you've built what you want to build, and now it's kind of like you become a project manager of what you build. Now dating can make sense to you. And now it's also all right, the compatibility, like, or is she meeting the things that I need naturally? You know, like if it's naturally not happening what you need from a person, hey, you gotta go another way from them. And yes, you do gotta find out about love languages and operate with that. But I don't think love languages heal you though. You know, I think the love languages is on the opposite side of it. You got to do the necessary work to identify and be able to say, you know what, I know how to give you quality time, or I know how to that you enjoy physical touch, or whatever the other ones is for the 5 love languages. But I think that's secondary. Primary is you just saying, you know what, I'm where I need to be. I'm ready to date. It's easier for you to be where you want to be because your mental is you. Again, as a man, you're a resolution maker. You're gonna make all the executive decisions, and like you're gonna get stressed out if you got to make decisions and you got to liabilities. And well, I use the word liabilities because I'm an entrepreneur. So I'm overhead. I gotta knock that down. Like if I don't make the money, hey, this can't happen. But now saying like, hey, you know, I'm seriously dating you and you got things that's going on. I gotta choose between business or this chick I'm dating. I'm choosing business. And that's just being honest with you. And I think everybody would do that. They would choose if you say, hey, you're dating and you working a 9 to 5, you're gonna choose your job versus the person you're dating if you got some kind of sense in you, you know. So I think you gotta just be clear your mind, be clear, level-headed. And I think that's where me personally where I'm at. I'm level-headed now. Like I'm clear thinking. Um, Basically project managing the building that I've built for life. So now I can say, oh, you know what? I'm open to marriage. I'm open to a real committed relationship. That's not us just ripping and running, you know, because I think that's what we do when we're younger. We're just moving around so much and we're not actually communicating. We're not actually growing together. We're building us individually, and hopefully we can merge those buildings and make one huge building.
Thank you for the thoughtfulness, and just being transparent about where you are within a short period of time. 5 years, right? 5 years ago, you say you may not have been thinking like this, or even a year ago. And it shows that, growth, it happens. And, sometimes we want to say it's got to happen right here in this moment, but it happens when it happens, right? And so it's beautiful. I want to ask you all this question here. As we're still talking about trauma and healing and wholeness, I saw this clip the other day, and the headline was, "Your mate cannot heal you." So here's a question that I have for the panel, and I would love for those of you who are in the chat to also chime in. But the specific question for the panel is this: do you believe healing needs to happen before love, or can love be a part of the healing process?
Go ahead, Karen.
I was going to say it has to happen before and during. Because in the beginning, you know that there's things you need to work on. If you're not working on those, you should not be in a relationship with somebody. But on top of it, relationships reveal things about you, whether it's a friendship or a relationship. So you should heal from those things, because it's literally a mirror of who you are. That's why just even in friendships at this point in my life, I'm very much looking at who I have in my surroundings, because there is a mirror. That's a reflection of who you are. So to answer that question, definitely should be starting in the beginning, because everybody knows where their wounds are. And at the same point, while you're in that relationship, you still should be healing. You should be still seeing things that are coming up and trying to figure out, where's that root cause coming from? I need to heal that right now, or figure out how to heal it.
Absolutely.
I agree with both, but I think even if it don't happen pre-relationship, I think while you're in the relationship, you have to have the intentions to heal. Like sometimes the healing can come from the partner, with how, maybe let's just say that partner may be nurturing and previous partners wasn't, and they've created that safe place for you to heal where you didn't think you can heal prior or didn't realize you need healing, but once you get in that relationship, it comes. So I disagree with the post on saying your partner can't heal you. Yes, your partner can, because we all grow up in different environments where some of us grew up on love, some of us grew up on surviving. Like if you grew up on surviving, you're not gonna understand the perspective of someone who grew up on love. So it's when you start to experience it, you may be like, you know what, the way I grew up was messed up. So now, like you're creating that space for them to come in and be vulnerable and not use it against them, where they can open up and they can start the healing process, or you could be like, oh, well, I go to a counselor or a therapist, and they can be like, oh, well, I never experienced that, but let me go with you, or let's do it together. And that partner can open them doors for you. That's why partnership is so important, because partnership is basically providing what you lack. Your partnership provide what you lack. And if you're not healed and they heal, they can open that door for you to get healed. You don't have to be quote unquote healed prior, but you have to be open to healing in a relationship.
All right, we're going to come to Missy, and then I want to hear from Jared on this question about Do you think healing needs to take place prior to love, or can it take place while you're with your mate?
So I do think that there's a level of understanding who you are that is important to entering relationships. I mean, it's not always ideal. I do think that your partner can be a catalyst to healing for you, because ultimately your partner can't heal you because they can't do the work for you, right? You got to do the work. So I think that that might be the caution, right? Is you have to do it. Like, your partner can look at you into their blue in the face telling you, hey, I see this blind spot about you, and you could ignore it, but there are those things that aren't spoken, like he said about the nurture. Someone could be affectionate, and maybe you've been touch deprived all your life, and you really need that because it's actually a core that unlocks something in you, and you can't get that by yourself. There's a level of evolution that we can't get without another person. We are not meant to be by ourselves. We're not meant to do life by ourselves. And so I believe that we need people. And so healing does take place, evolution does take place with other people. But again, they can't do your work for you. So I think that, and even the word healing, sometimes I've had to sit and grapple with that word, because I'm like, we're not broken. Yes, we've been wounded, but I think that once we can get to a place of refresh and understanding that none of that matters, right? Those wounds have been sealed if we let them, and we can enjoy being with somebody who is patient and calm with us. I think a lot of it is we get in relationships and people can't handle what our wounds are and may further infect or spread those wounds. And so it's just being clear on who you are enough before you get into that, or being the word I'm trying to get around to is the dependency that can be created, right, with that person. If I'm looking to you to be my only source of healing, then this can grow into a dependency. Then if I lose this relationship, that's where we fall apart. I collapse, right? So a healthy relationship, I believe, would be a conduit or a catalyst to healing, but I ultimately fully understand that it's on me to do the work.
I'm not healing you. You better call Yana Van Zandt at this point. That's what I got to say. Good luck. Good luck, Doc.
And I've gotten, in Jared's response, I kind of gotten there, but it feels inauthentic. So it's like, don't be someone's savior, but having that fierce wall up, like, well, look, I don't give a damn what you're going through. Figure it out. Like, it feels so cold, though. Don't it feel cold?
Okay, a little bit dumb, but it is the truth. I got friends I got some friends texting me like, oh, okay, April Dill, like, Jared, I can't stand you. April, I'm telling the truth. Call Yana, because I'm not fixing your behind. But I say that because I've been in relationships where I've brought my whole self and they brought their fragmented self, and then they're looking on me to heal the parts of their life that they never healed. Now we want to get into the conversation of trauma and triggers. You've triggered me because you should have walked on eggshells because of my trauma. Right? Now the relationship can never progress because now I'm having to do the Tootsie Roll around your trauma in all your triggers, right? Now, how deep can we really go with your trauma and your triggers? Now, because I am a man and I'm supposed to be sensitive to that, my job is not to exploit and to step on your trauma and your triggers, but also you got to be able to, your partner is supposed to create a safe zone for you to heal as well. That's the answer to the question. Create a safe zone. But if the relationship is all about you healing, then I'm going to exit stage left because it's not a relationship anymore.
Ooh,
it is now turned into,
That's good, Jared.
It's not a relationship anymore because some people get into relationships, bringing their trauma and their baggage to the person in a relationship, hoping that I can be a magic fixer. No, I came to the relationship looking for a partner, not a project. We talked about that last time. And too many times your trauma and your triggers are a project that you need to go take care of yourself. Now, here's what I will say. I will stay in a relationship with you if I actively see you trying to go heal those things on your own. They can become a common conversation we can have, but we're not about the trauma bond.
Yes. No.
We would not trauma bond, nor would we trauma love. We're not doing any of that, because then it turns into every conversation we have got to do around this trauma, this trigger, that trigger. And it's like, and if we're constantly talking about your trauma and your triggers, which means we're talking about the past, we're never going to look forward to our future. I know I'm talking to this church today, and I ain't got no offer yet. I ain't got time to be living in the past. No. Relationships are about progression. We need to progress in relationships, which means you also got to progress in your healing. Now, if you date somebody who starts to add to those traumas and those triggers, you got to wave them bye-bye. You got to go.
And on that note,
cut them off. You're right, Carrie. Cut them off.
And on that note, Jared, I'm going to pause it right here. Not because Carrie doesn't have anything else to say.
Hold on, Mike. Mike, ask April's question. She brought up a good question. I think it's good.
Okay, I didn't see it. Let me see what is the question. Sometimes you don't know a trigger is a trigger until it arises in your relationship. How do you honor your person's experience with trauma and be safe enough for them to express a trigger if it arises? Somebody can answer that. I really would rather hold it, but I want to respect April. Somebody, if you want to answer it, but again, we're going to get heavily into that for part 3. But if somebody want to quickly, I'll take one person.
I want to say, and this is not, again, to just leave people to the wolves, but as somebody who has had to stop processing all of my things out loud with everybody, or just not everybody, but those I feel close to, it's not always healthy, right? So if you're having a trigger, that's something that's going on within you. Now, if that person just did something to trigger you, and you're in a relationship and you're safe enough to say, hey, you just triggered me, which I've had to do this, right? Hey, you just triggered me. And that person's looking at you like, but I didn't mean to, right? And if they have enough understanding, you need to know what your ways to work through that are, or at least y'all need to develop that together, because I'm finding that instead of telling that person, oh, you did this, this, and this, don't do it no more, they're going to do something else to trigger you. So the best thing to do when you're in the point of trigger, I'm a writer, so my goal is go write, go get a notebook, go get in that journal, write everything you want to say about that trigger, that person, even if it's ugly as heck. Get it out, write it down, and release that, because your person, they're not the punching bag at that point, and they can easily become that, because a trigger is like, it's really an alarm for you. It's an alarm for you. Either that person's not good for you, or this is a recurrent thing. So that's where I say go introspective and find out, what's the pattern here? Why did this just surface? What just triggered me? All he said was that I can't lift that bag. Why did that make me want to knock his head off?
Yeah, and so listen, I know you want to say something, Jared. I'm going to pause here. Again, not because the conversation is finished, but this is exactly where the next one began. So if you've been listening, you've heard me allude to a couple times, we're going to have a part 3. Tonight, we didn't solve everything, and that was never the goal, right? The goal was awareness, to name patterns, to sit with our experiences, and to leave the table a little more honest than when we arrived. And I think we achieved those goals tonight. Would you agree? So here's the thing. I want to invite you to come back for part 3. Next time, we're picking up right here. We're going to move from naming patterns to unpacking healing with guidance. We're going to have a special guest that's going to be joining us. I'm not going to tell you who the guest is just yet, but we've got somebody who's a wife. We got somebody who's a mother. We have somebody who is a therapist and a counselor. And they are going to join us for part 3 to help us unpack some of these stories behind our dating experiences, and also to talk about healing and trauma. And what does that look like? And how do we get good at relationships, right? Because that's ultimately where we want to be, so that we can have this love that we all desire, okay? So part 3 is, if I'm not mistaken, is set for Tuesday. Let me tell you really quick. It is set for Tuesday, February the 10th. So about 10 days from now at 7:30 p.m. So I want to invite you all to come back for part 3. Stay tuned to social media. right? In the next couple of days, we'll be dropping the updated graphics for part 3, and we'll also be revealing our special guest as well. So you don't want to miss it. So again, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. Thank you for sticking with us for this conversation and also being engaging with us in the chat. So again, thank you so much. Wish everybody a good night, and we will see you on Tuesday, February the 10th.
Tell Mika to go to bed and log off now.
Hold tight, panel. I'm going to end the stream, okay?